Hello and welcome back to the Block Update podcast. It is episode 90. As usual, I am joined by SlackLizard, affectionately known by his mother as Jonathan, and I am, of course, FoxyNoTail, affectionately known by my mother as "You should be a journalist. You're always where the trouble is."
I don't know if that's a insult or a compliment.
That started from when I was in primary school. Every time there was any trouble in the playground or a classroom, I was there. I don't know why, but it always seemed to happen. And not very often was involved. I always got in trouble for it. I was always the one getting shared detentions with the others, but it just happened to be around me. And genuinely, hardly any of the times I was actually involved in what was going on, it just happened to be there. And that's carried on my entire life.
You're trying to say you're innocent, No-Tail?
Not always, but most of the time I got in trouble at primary school. It wasn't my fault.
Don't know about all that.
We'll see. Okay, as usual, we'd like to start the show by thanking our patrons. We have 56 patrons. We are supported by patron. How many times can I say patron in the next 5 minutes? I think you can say it a couple more times. Yeah, if you enjoy the show, you can go to the patreon.com/the block update. The prices are per podcast, and the minimum access you will get is just access to the patron Discord channels, which no one ever writes in. So, I mean, realistically, you're just doing it to support us now because we don't even have a bonus show. Jeez.
Yeah. It's part of the main show now.
3 amazing people at our very top tier that we'll shout out, and they are the Praetor, Essifer, and Diesel Wolf, are all at Minecraft 2.0 patrons. They're amazing, and I'm very sorry, the Praetor. I totally missed you last week. My apologies. Please forgive me. I'm sorry.
I saw that too. I saw that in the comments in the Discord. They really liked the acknowledgement, and you just straight up left them out.
Yeah. I mean, boo-boo. See, what it was, remember we talked about this a few weeks ago, that couple of the top tier ones had stopped, but it just still shows them at top tier level on the patron thing. So I was looking down the list. So we've got the 2 most recent ones at the top, which is still active. Then we've got the 2 that had cancelled or whatever below that. And then Praetor was at the bottom, and I just didn't look down far enough. So it's totally my fault.
We love you, Praetor, just saying.
Yeah, we do. Right, this week is going to be a big week. We have some very interesting news, a whole big thing to discuss. But before we do that, I suppose we should start with the feedback, Slack. So let's get into it.
Oh, feedback here. First one we got up is Irish Viking says, "Hey, another great show. I wanted to bring up something that you missed about the Game Pass Ultimate. You also get the option to stream games from the cloud. That option actually allows you to play more games, including console games, and you can play on your phone and etc."
I totally forgot about that. I think that's probably not very many people probably actually end up doing that unless you really are like really into your hardcore gaming or into your indie games, or you spend a lot of time commuting. I tend to find that people do stream games if they're traveling a lot rather than, being at home with the consoles or the PCs. But it is convenient that you can play console games on your PC through game streaming. So it's great. So yeah, Game Pass Ultimate's got that if you want it.
But wasn't there an issue when Microsoft acquired Activision here recently that the UK actually blocked them because they had to change the rules on how their cloud gaming services work?
They unblocked them on the basis that Microsoft said that they will allow, I think it was Ubisoft, correct me if I'm wrong on that, to run all of their cloud stuff for the... I don't know. Didn't make any sense to me. But I get the feeling it's all going to be fine. What can the UK do? You stop it! Stop it! Look,
they held them up for a long time. Just saying.
They will, but all Microsoft will do if there's a problem is they'll just do what's called geofencing. They'll go, "Oh, UK, no, sorry, mate, you can't have it. Everyone else can, you can't." So people will just change the regions on the devices. It'll be fine.
Yeah. What could go wrong?
Okay, Robo Rufus says, "Hey crew, this is sad, this feedback Slack. Thanks so much for creating a good podcast. Imagine sad music playing now. It was the highlight of my boring Friday when you guys posted. I'm taking a long break from Minecraft because it's become so mundane and boring. After I started to play Terraria, I realised how lacking Minecraft is. I hope this podcast continues to flourish, and I hope that when I come back in a few years, I will still have a pod to listen to. Signing off for a while, Robo Rufus. Ah, R.I.P. Robo Rufus. It was nice having you, bud. And you're right, Minecraft has become very mundane and boring in certain aspects over the last few years and months. But I think Mojang are on the course to change all that. We'll find out over the next few years and months. Jeez.
Hopefully.
Well, thanks for the message, Robo. Appreciate it.
Next up, we got Victim. It says, I can never manage to sleep in on my day off. Having your show to look forward to on Saturday morning at 3 a.m. makes my day start off right. 3 a.m. on a Saturday?
What's the day off? What is this day off you speak of? I don't understand. Jeez.
I think the last one I had was December 24th of 2019. Because I'm pretty sure December the 25th, a friend of mine was kicked out of a Discord and plans started rolling then. I think that was my last day off. Yeah.
Right. Well, I often have days off from making content, but then those days off are generally filled with a load of stuff that's just piled up in the background for me to deal with. So
yeah,
there's no day off. There is no day off. Unless you're ill. No. Unless you're ill. So all of a sudden, when you're ill, it's just magic. Like all this time appears and you're like, oh, I can sit here and do nothing for a week and nothing changes. Nothing gets behind. Nothing goes wrong.
I don't know about all that.
Or maybe not. Okay. Parkour Gnome says, howdy, Parkour Gnome again. Wonderful episode, Mr. No-Tail and Mr. Lizard. In response to your Roman Empire question, Mr. No-Tail, it is mostly a meme. However, I'm one of those people. I mostly think about it every couple of days, but I'm quite a history nut, so maybe not part of the majority. Also, Mr. Lizard, I found it intriguing that you have no internal monologue and no imaging function. This makes me even more astounded at the incredible things that you create in Minecraft. Very impressed. Sorry for the book, but have a great day. Thank you both for being wonderful.
I still found it weird that people do have a real voice they hear in their head.
I still find it weird that people think about the Roman Empire. Why? Why?
I don't think about the Roman Empire, but I do think about other societies like Viking life and like Wild West and like living like Indians and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't think of the Roman Empire though.
Fair enough. Maybe I'm the oddball. Okay.
Maybe.
Thank you.
Nobody's up next and says an enchantment for the crossbow called Precision. Shouldn't this be a wish list?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh, in that case, you get your favorite person.
Battle Chicken 66 is up and says,
it's the real Battle Chicken, by the way.
Why is there another Battle Chicken? I am the real Battle Chicken. This is war. And I do not know who this other Battle Chicken. What?
That didn't make any sense, that sentence at all. No. You read it perfectly.
Yeah.
I do not know who this other Battle Chicken.
Yeah. And if you hear from Battle Chicken or Battle Chicken 66, that is me. Still love the podcast.
Oh, man, there's a war of the chickens going on the block update. Oh, jeez. What's going to happen next?
Chicken fights. Aren't those illegal? I'm just saying.
If you want to leave us some feedback, then you can do by joining our Discord and pouring it all in there. And if you don't want to do that, then you can go on the website, which is theblockupdate.com, and fill out the feedback form, of which we got a whole bunch this week, Slack, of some person thinking they were being funny, but not realizing that there's really no one's going to see what they're posting.
Oh my God. I've seen the amount of emails we got. Your feedback, the Google feedback has a new thing, and I click it, and it's just
like 6 of them in a row were just this person just being obscene and silly. And I just delete them as soon as I see it. So it's not working. It's not whoever they are that thinks they're trying to be funny. It's not getting anywhere. No one sees it. So you lose. Okay, right. Slack, what have you been up to this week, buddy?
Well, it's actually been 2 weeks. So
geez, it has. That's my list.
Yeah. Last week, this last week, from now till last Wednesday, more or less, I've been sick. just sicker than a dog. Like, I got home last Tuesday.
Yeah.
Wednesday evening.
England.
Yeah. Yeah, I was in England. And
Britain.
when I got home, yeah, I was over in the UK drinking some water, you know.
Brilliant. Sounds just like a British person.
I just get a little snarky and act like a little bit of a snob. What? Who said that? I mean, huh? Anyways.
Whoa. Okay, carry on.
The last week I've just been sick. I caught a sinus infection, and I'm pretty sure that I caught that on the plane ride back, because the plane ride back was horrible, by the way.
Yeah.
Just absolutely horrible. But all the toilets broke on the plane except for one. So everybody from first class to economy had to use the same toilet. And the next day I got sick, and I've been sick all week. This is the first day that I can breathe. I've got an arsenal of stuff on my desk. Like I still got the vapor rub pen. I still got the icy hot rollers. I still got the Mucinex. I still got all the cough drops. I still got the nose strips, because I was doing anything to breathe this week. It has just been god awful and horrible. Was it at least the first class Esperanza? No, it wasn't. No, it was the one at the back of the plane. But, so there's not really much to say about this week. But last week, after the podcast had finished, what was it? We had the interview for Isaac's citizenship at the embassy on Monday.
Yep.
So Sunday, we traveled down from Jen's to London via train. Wasn't that bad. The first trip wasn't that bad. We got to London. We found our way to the hotel. We stayed there throughout the night. Next morning, we got up. We went to the embassy. And you've known me for a few years now. I always like to joke about yes, no, and 42, right? Everything.
Yeah.
If you ask me something and I don't know the answer to, I just say 42 off Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Yeah.
We made it through security at the embassy. We got up into the area where we were waiting, and we were waiting for our number to be called. And they finally called out our number. They're like, application C, blah, 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 whatever. Window 42.
Brilliant.
Window 42. And it was absolutely hilarious. But long story short, they said we were the most well-prepared people that they have seen with documentation in a long time. And his citizenship got approved that day. So
Nice.
His passport's being printed out, and it's going to be sent to Jen. His American Social Security card and other documents are going to be sent to me. And that went remarkably well and fast. I was so paranoid that something was going to go wrong, and they're just like, nope, everything's good. And he is now dual citizenship, which is great.
Nice.
So we don't have to worry about him moving forward in the visa, because as soon as his passport travels, he can come and live in America or travel and live in the UK. He's got the perks of both sides.
Sweet.
So after that, we went back to the hotel that morning, and we had about, 7 or 8 hours before our train ride back to Jen's house. We decided that instead of just chilling in the hotel, we were going to walk over London.
Oh, of course.
We were going to walk from where we were to where the train station was to avoid the subway system and to sightsee.
Oh, the subway's good. That's probably the best bit of London.
Well, if we hadn't walked around, I wouldn't have got to see Big Ben. I wouldn't have got to see the Parliament building. I wouldn't have got to see the Eye of London.
Yeah.
And we also stopped at the British Museum of Acquisitions. History. What is it called? Everything in there is labeled like acquired on this date. On this date, But it was fun. It was nice to get to see, some of the landmarks. I really wish that I had like a week to go there and actually spend on vacation, because when we were actually walking through London and, using the app on the phone to see where we are, there's so many places I wanted to see, like so many different places, just different museums and historical landmarks and stuff like that. Like just walking down the river and seeing the lampposts that were put there in like the 1700s, and they're still used. Yeah. Or you run across an area of cobblestone road that has been there longer than the United States has been a thing.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
And just the architecture of the buildings, some of the older ones, some of the marble facing and the brickwork and everything like that. And it was amazing to see because you could look at some of the buildings and you get to thinking, you're like, well, during World War II, this was a targeted area. And you could actually tell by looking at some of the buildings where the brick and everything had been replaced because it had been blown up before.
Yeah.
There was so much history there to see. It was absolutely amazing. I wish I had about a week to spend there just to visit everywhere that we could. But we were limited.
There is a lot to see in London. I've been a few times in my life, not that many to be honest with you. I've worked like on and off there, like driving down and going to some factory or going to some company and doing bits and bobs. But the actual main centre of London, I've probably only been to a dozen times in my life. And there's some bits that are great and some bits that are just like, meh, it's a city. But my favourite part of London is a bit called Camden. There's a Camden Town, it's called. And it's like a little outdoor markety thing with some indoor shops and stuff. And they've got like food stands. And I don't know why, but I love that. I really like that.
I loved it when we got to like Big Ben and stuff like that. Granted, I didn't like shoulder to shoulder people because around that area, right there at the main area, there's just so many tourists there. Just absolutely baffling the amount there. But like when you walk under,
see in the UK, so that's where everyone goes.
But like walking underneath the bridges and seeing all the shops and stalls underneath there, and all the just different shops of everything there, it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. I paid for it the next few days because we ended up walking like 11 miles that day.
Oof.
So we did that. We went to the museum. We caught the train back, and the train ride back was horrible. Absolutely horrible. The air circulation system broke on the train. So they actually had to pull us off and fix that before we continued on. So we were on a delay.
Right.
We finally got back to Jen's area, and it was late. And we were both exhausted. So we ended up crashing out because it was just so late. And then the next morning we had to get up early because I was flying home the next day. So we got up, went to the airport. I had to wait around there for 2 or 3 hours. You know how it is with an international flight.
Yeah.
Finally made the flight, which was absolutely horrible. My legs decided that they were going to kill me after walking 11 miles the day before. So I spent half of the plane ride standing at the very back of the plane just talking to the flight attendants.
Oh, really?
Because my legs, my legs just were not having it. No, sitting in that chair.
Okay.
And then I told you that they messed up my return flight, right?
Yeah, I heard about this, but the people probably haven't, so crack on.
Yeah, so they messed up my return flight. I was delayed by 2 days, and I said, screw that. I'm not staying in Atlanta for 2 days. So I decided I was going to drive home. No, I was going to drive home. All in the same day that I did all this flying.
Yeah.
So landed in Atlanta, messed around there for about 2 hours just getting to the rental car place. Finally got the rental car, and I didn't set out on my drive until probably 8:30 at night. So at this point, I'd done been up like 14, 15 hours. And of course, it was supposed to be a 7-hour drive home. Turned out to be a 9-hour drive home. I tell you what, I will never drive in Atlanta again. I would rather take a beating than drive in that town again. I absolutely refuse. Just nightmare traffic. Just horrible. I don't know where people got their licenses at. I'm pretty sure they got it out of a Cracker Jack box or something.
A Christmas cracker.
Jesus. Yeah, it was absolutely horrible. Horrible. And then I couldn't get I didn't have nothing to hold my phone or nothing like that. So I'm trying to use the navigational app on my phone while driving this car. And they put me in one of these newer cars that had like lane assist driving, smart everything. So like it wouldn't even let you run up on a vehicle too close. It would auto brake you and everything else like that. And I'll be honest with you, the smart features on that car is probably the reason I'm here because I shouldn't have been driving.
No.
About 4 hours into the drive, well, actually about 2 hours into the drive, I pulled off at a rest stop and I finally got my phone linked up with the navigation system on the car and everything like that. And I put in my destination and it's like, oh yeah, go this way, turn this way, turn this way. And I remember the moment. I was coming from Chattanooga and I was going to Nashville. And the road sign ahead said, turn left to go to Nashville. Because I should have just went over to Nashville and then took I-65 up. but the navigation system was screaming at me, turn right.
Right, of course, yeah, makes sense.
Long story short, the car decided that it wanted to go the most fuel efficient route home.
Right, of course it did.
So it put me on pretty much Bob's roads going up mountains with like 200-foot sheer cliff drop-offs on each side with no guardrails.
Right.
Here at this point, I've been up like 22, 23 hours, and I'm driving down these like one-lane gravel roads in the mountains. And I swear to God, I rolled down my window because I'm lost. I'm just following the navigation at this point. And I swear to God, I can hear stuff running through the woods beside me. If that car had died, I'd been dead. I'm serious. I was out in the middle of nowhere, no internet signal, no nothing. Finally, at about the 25, 26 hour mark, I finally got internet again, and I called her, and I was like, look, you're going to have to keep me up. And there wasn't no option for me to pull off at this point because it had taken me on such back roads that I was in the middle of nowhere. I was like, you got to help keep me up at this point. At this point, I've got to make it home. And it was horrible. It was the longest drive of my life. After one of the worst flights of my life with a worse train ride the day before of my life.
Oh, what an exciting way to get home, Slack. At least you got a story out of it.
Yeah, I finally got home at like 3:30 a.m. Mom came in and talked me to her for a few minutes. I was like, look, I love you, but I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
Going to bed. I'm exhausted. I'm pretty sure I hit my bed and I didn't even move till I woke up the next morning.
Bless you. Jeez.
And then it was, because I'd rented a car, my car was still at Louisville International. So then I had to go drive the car up to Louisville to pick up my car. And then they tried to give me crap of like, oh, we see you're a smoker. Did you smoke in the car? No, not at all. Well, if you did, there's a $500 fee on it. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, go ahead, try to charge $500 for that card. You ain't getting nowhere. There ain't $500 of credit on that card. But no, they were nice about it. The dude was like, no, I don't care. He's like, I'll spray some Febreze in there or whatever. I don't care. You ain't going to charge me anyways. But finally got my car, got back home. And then, of course, the next day I got sick. And I've been sick all week. Yeah.
Oh, man. Oh, jeez.
It's been an interesting 2 weeks.
Yeah. Bit of an adventure. It's exciting. It's always a story when you've been somewhere.
Yeah. But it was worth it just for the fact that he got his citizenship.
Yeah,
we
definitely
don't have to worry about that. So now it's just the remainder of the visa, which Jen and Firespawn have to do medical exams, and then it's time for the actual interview. And I don't know if the lawyer knows something we don't, but the lawyer seems to think Jen's going to be over here in like the next 2 months.
Oh, really? Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
They've already started putting dates of travel to the U.S. as in like February.
Wow.
Yeah, so now it's we were a little bit behind on visa documentation because we had to get him sorted first.
Yeah.
Because if we didn't get him sorted, we couldn't move forward. But now that we got him sorted and the lawyer knows, it's just been full speed ahead. Like after the podcast tonight, I've got to get documents from Judd because he's going to be our co-sponsor and get that sent to the lawyer because I honestly look for the interview to be within the next month at the way the lawyers are talking.
Nice. Good.
So it's getting there.
Well, my week's not been quite as exciting as yours, Slack. The last couple of weeks. Okay, so I've talked about my duck shot channel a few times. I think, in the last podcast, or maybe it was in the last podcast bonus show, about putting out. So all my videos for a while had been Starfield because I did a big old long playthrough on that, and they were getting some good views, even to the point where I got that channel monetized. And then I wanted to play Spider-Man, so I started making Spider-Man videos, and I recorded probably 4 or 5 episodes worth, and they just died. They just died. I even got an editor to do like a real like crushed down version of it to try see that. And I
was going to ask how that worked out because I know you were talking about you had sent him copies and showed him what you wanted done. I didn't know how his edit had turned out.
After a little bit of back and forth it was a bit rough to start with, but a bit of back and forth, we got there, and it was okay. It wasn't a bad edit, but it just died, just dead flat. So I decided, right, I'm not going to record it. I'm just going to play it and enjoy it. And I really enjoyed Spider-Man 1, the PlayStation on PlayStation 4. It's a brilliant game, and I really enjoyed Miles Morales, which was the sequel, if you like, I guess. It was kind of like DLC, but it wasn't really. And this one does a lot more things than the first Spider-Man did. Spider-Man 2, there's a lot more ways to get around. The city's much bigger. But I found it quite, not boring, but I don't know. I didn't really get into it as much. I finished it, but I got to probably a few hours in. I was like, the enemies are just like, you're Spider-Man. Spider-Man's strong, right?
Yep.
So it'll flag up, there's an armed robbery over here, go and stop the guys. And these guys are taking like 10 hits to take down. You're like, I'm Spider-Man. I should be able to knock them out in one punch. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to knock the difficulty down. No, it wasn't hard. I wasn't dying. I wasn't having to redo bits. It was just like, why are they so, I don't know. The combat in it's one of the things that I think a lot of people really like from the game, but I just found it so repetitive. So I was like, right, I'm going to knock the difficulty down just so that I can get through these combat things a bit quicker.
Yeah.
And then I kept playing and playing and playing. And the first one, there was a lot of side stuff to do. And it was always throwing new things at you, but it felt like they'd sort of streamline this in a certain way to be like, okay, there's less just, go find all the backpacks, go find all this, go find all that. There was less of that. There was a lot of collectibles, but they'd done it in a way, I think, that was more modern and probably better. But it felt like there was a lot less side-focused stuff. And because in this one, you can play as Peter Parker and Miles Morales, so you've got two Spider-Men, and you can change between them. The story like intertwined with them both, but I didn't find it as enjoyable as the first one. And I got another few hours in, and this combat's just like, it's dull for me. You're just basically spamming X or whichever button it is to hit, and some enemies they won't do this and some won't do that. And I'd leveled up my character all the way. I got all of the perks open, and I just thought no. So I dropped it right down to the bottom level, which didn't, to be honest, make it a great deal easier, but it did mean that I was getting through these battles a bit quicker. But it was like, you get towards the end, and they're like, okay, here's like a mid boss, and all of a sudden this mid boss, they've got a big long health bar, right? Just like you do with a boss. But what I didn't notice until my sort of second or third mid boss is that they've got these little squares underneath, and that's how many of these there's basically a long hit bar until a cutscene, then another long hit bar until a cutscene. So you basically got to just beat the same boss up 3 or 4 times depending on the boss. And they do change slightly as like between each one, but it makes like one fight with the boss take half an hour, and you're like, there's got to be a more interesting way of doing this, because I'm just doing the same thing over and over again for half an hour. I'm pressing X, then I'm pressing triangle, then I'm pressing X, and then I'm jumping up in the air, and I don't know, I found it a little bit boring, to be honest with you. So I did enjoy the story. I thought the story was interesting. Venom's in it. I don't want to spoil anything, but you got to muck about with Venom as well, so that's quite good fun. But yeah, I think overall, I think they're doing a third one, but I'm not so sure if I'll be interested, because if it's just the same thing again, and I can understand why they did the same thing again, because the first one was so successful, but it just, I don't know, didn't do much for me. Whereas all of the reviews and the people I listened to talking about it are all saying how much they thought it was way better than the first one, and in a certain sense it was, but the fast travel system in this was a lot different. Like unlocking the fast travels was a lot different, but you can now basically fly. You've got web wings, so you can just press triangle and you put your arms out and you can basically fly. It's like a little bit like having a Elytra. You can't go up, but you can like boost and get power, and you can go into slipstreams and stuff. And it just meant that, and I can understand why they did that, because the city's so much bigger in this one than it was in the first one. So you need to be able to get around it more quickly. but it meant you just didn't feel connected to the city in any way. Whereas I feel in the first one, because you were only swinging around and it was smaller, you got to know areas of the city. You felt like you were actually Spider-Man, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man in the city. Whereas this, you're like, okay, now I'll go over here, now I'll go over there. And then every single place you go is a new place. And you're just like, I don't feel in any way connected to it at all. So, yeah, that's my review of Spider-Man 2, I guess. It's a good game. It's just, I don't know. No, it wasn't really what I was hoping for. While I was playing that, my TV developed it was nothing to do with the game. It's been sort of barely noticeable for a little while, but over this last couple of weeks, there's just like a really bright spot on it. So it's the TV was it's just an LCD with like the old-fashioned backlight in there.
Yeah.
And for a long time, I've been able to see like the backlights actually shining through the screen, like in specific places, which means it's getting on a bit. It used to happen a lot with plasma TVs, but not really so much LCD TVs. So I was a little bit confused why it was doing it. And then all of a sudden, it just developed this like really bright spot just off center on the screen, like so much brighter than everything else. So, which was really off-putting when you're like watching TV, because it was always just at that point where the person on the left's face was, and their face was just suddenly way brighter than everything else. So I'm like, oh man, I need a new TV, which is so frustrating because there's nothing wrong with it other than this bright spot. So I ended up, geez, buying a new TV is hard. There's so many different types now. Everyone raves about these OLEDs, but then you get all of this like worry about burn-ins, and then there's so many different types of OLEDs now. And if you're looking at them, everything you look at goes, yeah, but if you get this one, it's better. Yeah, but if you get this one, it's brighter. Yeah, and you end up at like £2,000 or £3,000 for a TV. And I'm like, that's a lot of money for a TV. So then I was looking at mini LEDs, which are not quite as good as OLED, but somewhere a bit closer. And because it's just still an LCD screen with LED backlight effectively, they don't suffer from burning. So I decided to save myself a few £1,000s and get one of those. And it's great. It's fine. Does exactly what my other telly did, but looks slightly nicer, which is good. So, yeah. And then I thought, I'll get a new TV stand while I'm at it. And that's what I've been building today. I got some a TV stand from IKEA, and I decided to put that together. So
torturing yourself. Okay. Yeah.
I don't know. I quite like building furniture. It's quite therapeutic. Although there was one following the instructions as you do. And I always, every single time I build furniture, something's wrong. So there's 3 drawers in this TV unit, and the side panels are so the drawers is the front, there's the back, there's the bottom, and there's the sides. The side panels I put on, and then I'm like, but they didn't have grooves in, because normally like the bottom of the drawer sits in the grooves. Yeah, you ever made drawers before?
Yeah.
You get this like flat bit of wood that just slits. The side ones didn't have grooves because of the way the drawers were made. So I put them on the wrong way round, and the problem was the screw holes that I needed for the rails were then on the inside. Which would have been fine if you would have been making them with any of the, like everything else held together with easy to take out screws or them little lock nut things. Great. Yeah. These drawers held together with these like plastic sprockets that you had to hammer in. So I'm like, I can't get them out. So I got my drawer sides on the wrong way around. So I'm then like really carefully with a hammer, like these brand new drawers, trying to like hammer them back out again and I did it. I got it spun round and put it around the other way around. But that's the last thing I want to do with a brand new piece of furniture is take a hammer to it.
Yeah. Well, let's beat it with a hammer. Let's see how that helps. Yeah.
Yeah. What else have I done? I've replaced all of my Raspberry Pis, which were running all of my servers, with a server actually I met a long time ago. I don't know if you remember, but a guy in my community called Hanku gave me a proper server rack server.
Yeah, I remember that.
And we used to run one of the Truly Bedrock seasons on it, or for at least for a little while. But it turned out it was actually a little bit laggy for running Minecraft servers. So I never used it after that. It's just been sat in like the back room for a very, very long time. And I thought, well, now I've got all of my like networking stuff in the garage, because like actual server racks make a lot of noise.
Yep.
They're very noisy. I thought I'm just going to stick this in the garage and put everything on there and get all that running. And that's running loads better than them little Raspberry Pis, even though they were fine. They ran fine, but if I lost internet connection for whatever reason, they just won't come back on unless I hard reset them, which just happens to always happen when I go away. So I sorted this out. And then my last thing that I did this week is probably a little bit of bad news for some people, but I don't know if you remember, I made a website where you could like package up skin packs and player head packs and things like that. I decided to take it down.
Oh, I know, I heard.
Yeah, only because it's just and I think this sums me up all round at the moment. Bedrock Edition just keeps changing, and it has done for a long time. But we've been moaning on the podcast about the regularity of the changes and how it's just too often. And I see it, not just me, but quite a lot of other people that work on Bedrock stuff, just going, I can't be bothered. I cannot be bothered to keep up with it. Every time they change something, all of my add-ons need doing. I'm going to say this now. Maybe I will in the future, but I'm not going to update any of my add-ons from now on. If my add-ons break from now on, tough. It's not going to happen. If they just break, they'll go off the website as well. I have given up on trying to keep up with it because they just change it too much, and it doesn't look like that's slowing down. In fact, it looks like that's speeding up more and more and more. So I have got some ideas for other add-ons that maybe would be a bit more stable, but I just haven't got the time. This new update, what was with 1.20.50 came out the other week, and I just looking at all the changes in the changes, I was thinking, no, forget it. No, if it doesn't work, tough.
It's annoying the amount of changes that they're constantly making. Like it feels like one of the things out there is there's, and I'll dare to say it out loud, there's no good Bedrock Edition add-ons. There's no Bedrock Edition overhaul mods or anything like that. There's been several attempts where people have tried to port over mods from Java to Bedrock, and they're a shell of what they were. Yeah, they're nowhere near what they could be. Yeah, and
all the good stuff's dead. All the good stuff died when the shader thing came out. Now the people that were making that better render dragon thing, that they've given up.
Yep.
It's just, there's just too many changes, constant changes, and it's
like it feels like they're hurting the potential Bedrock developers for add-ons and mods with all the changes they're doing. It's like, hey, they think they're doing this to make it better, but they're actually driving the people away.
Yeah, some of the changes they intend to make that break things are really annoying, and you can think, okay, I can understand to a certain point why you've done that, but that's annoying. But to be honest, the majority of it, 90%, is they just break it. They would even if they haven't changed something will break. And then you got to find workarounds. So it's not like, oh, I can just look at the change logs, find out what's changed, or look at the documentation online, find out what's changed and make the changes. It's not. It's sitting there for hours trying to think of another way to do the same thing you're already doing. And that's what's annoying. That's what's frustrating. And that's why I've just given up. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry to anyone that lost my add-ons and packs and things like that, but it's just soul destroying. You put all of that time and effort into something. I shouldn't need to update it when I shouldn't need to update the markers pack because they change how wolves work. I shouldn't have to change, and still my mob heads pack won't work properly. And I get all of these comments. You need to update it, fix the sniffer. It's not my fault. I just Mojang need to fix the sniffer. And I've told them it's a problem.
Yep. But it's like, they don't care.
No.
And it's just,
and there's something else
driving people away
that I know that's coming, and I can't talk about it. It's one of those things I can't talk about, and I should be over the moon with it because it's something I've wanted for such a long time, but it's also just completely wiped me out, so deflated by it, which hopefully in the next few weeks I'll be able to talk about more, but it's to do with add-ons. But yeah, basically something I've been dreaming that would happen to a certain part of Minecraft Bedrock Edition is happening, and in the worst possible way, I guess, for me. So, yeah, I don't know.
Good talk, huh?
Yeah, so that's my week. Jeez. Time to get on to the news. And we got a lot of news this week, and it's going to lead to a big old discussion So let's get out of the negatives into the positives and look at what's been happening. Starting with Minecraft 1.20.51, which was the hotfix, because of course every time they release an update it needs fixing because they break it and they don't test it. Not bashing on Mojang at all, but things like duplicating items because you switched slots after using the item shouldn't happen. That shouldn't happen, right?
No, it shouldn't. But it did.
That should be one of the most easy things to pick up. All you got to do, once you've made the update and you're testing it, is log in the game, use an item, and then switch your hot. I mean, just natural power gameplay anyway. How did you not pick up on that?
Because they didn't test it?
It's because they didn't test it. Because clearly, it's not a difficult thing for them to figure out that one. There's no excuse for things like that.
They need to quit. They need to quit rushing them. They need to quit rushing them.
They do need to quit rushing them constantly. It's just ridiculous. One a month would be fine. And I mean, like, one a month, not minor update. I mean, one a month changelog, you know?
Yeah.
And then, like Java Edition, an actual release once every 6 months or 3 months or whatever it is. Fine. Yep. If I only had to update my add-ons, 3 or 4 times a year. Yeah. Great. But I have to do it. And the thing is, I don't just do it monthly. I have to do it 2 or 3 times a month because of all the hotfixes. Don't think that the hotfix means that I don't have to update the pack. I do, because it breaks it all again. Even though there's like 4 things in this changelog, I guarantee it'll break something.
Because we don't get a full changelog. We get this is what we think you should know, but it doesn't include anything else. We've seen between changelogs, big changes happen, and it's not documented nowhere.
No, exactly. No, so yeah, and then there's a couple of bug fixes as well there as well. So yeah, nice to see that they have put a hotfix out. At least they do, but it shouldn't. Things like that shouldn't happen in the first place. I can understand crashes. Crashes are often you don't know until it's actually happened, because basically they get the telemetry. When your game crashes when you're playing Minecraft, Mojang know about it, and it will give them the data. Won't know exactly what you've done necessarily, but will give them a good idea. So that's how they can fix crashes. And because clearly no one's playing the betas and the previews to the extent that they need them to test this thing, they're not finding that out until like stable release. And I think that's probably why they pushed like this. Hey, you get a free preview realm if you take out a realm now. Come on, please, because they just need people to test. Well,
nobody's gonna want to do it when anything I test this week is going to be fixed by a different bug or a different update next week. No, not going to want to do it.
Exactly. Yeah. That preview system would work a lot better if it didn't change every week. Every week, it's crazy. Stop it.
You don't even give people enough time to play and test it. What do they think? People play 24 hours a day for them nonstop to test stuff?
No.
Well, y'all don't work 24 hours a day. Why are we going to play 24 hours a day?
Okay, so that's that. Now, the next pieces of news, we've got 2 changelogs. We've got a Minecraft beta and preview, and we've got a Java Edition snapshot. And they're both very similar. And I'm going to save the obvious till last. The obvious is the Armadillo and the Wolf Armor, but we're going to get to that last because there's a couple of things in this changelog that are interesting, and I don't want to skip past it. The blocks in the trial chambers, the copper bulbs, are now going to be waxed for some reason, which I found interesting. I don't know why they've changed that, but fair enough.
Okay.
Yep. We've got a new command. We've got the HUD hide or reset element, so we can turn off with a command the paper doll, the armor little bars, the tooltips, touch controls, hit. Tooltips would be nice. Not tooltips. The notifications would be nice to turn off, but they're not in there. But I think that's a good thing to be able to use for people that make packs and things like that. That is actually really useful. Like if you wanted to do a no health playthrough, or a thing like that, that'd be good.
Yeah.
So that's good. Slack. 3 fixes to do with when you're working at height and you just take random fall damage.
Whatever. I mean, yeah, that sounds good. Yeah.
They fixed certain cases caused by players to take unexpected fall damage when performing interactions at specific heights, like 62. Reintroduced a fix for players sometimes taking unexpected fall damage while building blocks while standing on them. Fix some cases where players could take unexpected fall damage near ledges if they were visibly not falling off of. You know, the one where you're standing on
a chest.
Yeah.
I like how it says fixed some cases.
Well, they probably don't know all of them, but yeah.
If your chest is to the west, we fixed it. But any other direction, no.
Well, I'm glad that they're at least doing something with it. It's nice to see that, because that's been annoying for so long, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Code coming back. Yep.
They've added 4K support finally for Xbox Series consoles, which is nice. I don't know why.
Okay.
See, I've played games in 4K. In fact, I think I played Spider-Man in 4K just because that's what resolution it was at. But like, I don't see any difference. I honestly don't. When you set it to like 1080p, I don't see any difference. Considering it's having to work 4 times harder and like use 4 times more power and resources and just chewing through your electricity bill and chewing through the hardware, creating all that heat. Why? Just 1080p is fine. Unless you've got a giant screen, and I'm talking like 65 inches plus, it really doesn't make any difference in my eyes. Because especially if you're at your PC, like sitting in front of my screen now, this one's 1440p. Can't really tell a great deal of difference between that and 1080p. And I can tell a bit of a difference in 4K this close up, but in gaming it doesn't make any difference because everything's moving so fast anyway. But on a TV, when you're using a console on a TV, you're 6 feet away from it. You cannot tell the difference.
No, you're not going to see it there. Like I just got a new monitor for Christmas. And the only thing I could tell the difference in is the fact that all my other monitors are the ISP LEDs, and this is a different type of LED. I love this one. It's great. I love it. Yeah,
you can tell differences like that. Like if it's an LED one versus is it IPS panel, something like that?
IPS or something like I hate IPS panels now.
You can definitely tell the difference when that, but you cannot tell the difference with the resolution that much. The only advantage is if you've got a big screen, you can make everything a whole bunch smaller, like all your icons and things, so you can fit more on your screen. But then if everything's tiny, so you end up like right up to your monitors.
Yep.
So, okay, next big change: the world edit screen. So they did the create new world screen, but they kept the old world edit screen, and they're now updating that so it looks like the create new world screen. I don't understand why it's taken so long. It sounds like they're making lots of changes to it, and it surely was just a copy-paste job.
You would have thought, yep.
But what do I know? What do I know? I'm sure there was a few tweaks to make, but realistically, there's not many more buttons in the edit screen than there are in the create screen, other than delete world and duplicate world, and that's probably about it, isn't it? Export world, I guess, although that button doesn't seem to be there. The other thing they've added in this is realm stories, and I haven't read anything to do with this, so I'm going to read it out loud now, and hopefully we'll both know what it is by the end of it. They've introduced Realm Stories, a new social hub for your realm. Realm Stories features include the story feed, lets you share your greatest gameplay moments with your fellow realm members. The timeline lets you see when other members are playing on the realm, so that's quite interesting. The members tab, which shows a list of all the realm members and their permission levels. So each member will be able to see who the other members are rather than just the owner. So that's quite a nice thing to have, I guess. I never understood the story feed. Didn't we have something like that in Bedrock before anyway, where you could take screenshots and share them on a realm?
You could take screenshots, unless now they're going to include the option for videos as well. I don't see a change. Maybe they just rebranded something.
But why? I just don't get that. Like, if you could post it straight to social media, fine. But why does anyone care about sharing that within Minecraft?
The one that interests me here, or it probably won't work like I would hope it would work, would be the timeline. Let you see when other members are playing on the realm. So does that like bring up a history? So like if I loaded up yesterday, I could see that Billy Bob was on from 1 o'clock to 7 p.m.
You would hope that timeline means that, but I get the feeling it's just showing you who's online when you actually go to look at it. But that doesn't really mean what timeline is. That doesn't, But you would hope that's what timeline says to me anyway. What you just said. But I can you imagine that? Would they consider that some sort of security issue? Be really useful for admins.
Oh, it'd be super useful for admins, but there's no way it can work like that. It's too useful, so they would never implement it. Yeah, maybe. We'll see. We'll see.
Okay, and that's about it for this changelog, other than obviously the big features. Now, I'm going to talk about this as soon as I finish talking about Java Edition things, which also got Armadillo and Wolf Armor. They also got the fact that they have renamed their normal scoots to turtle scoots. So there's now Armadillo scoots and turtle scoots, which makes sense. Don't know why they can't just be the same thing and you make dog armor out of any old scoot, but that's how it works.
Yeah.
Llamas and shulkers are no longer able to destroy armor stands, which is interesting because their llamas used to be able to spit and the shulker bullets used to break them, but now the only mob in the game that can break armor stands is the breeze. And that's about it. There's a whole bunch of other changes.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah. So let's get into the Armadillo and the Wolf Armor. Slack, what is your first reactions?
I've known nothing about it. I've been sick the last week, and I was traveling the week before. I know nothing.
Oh, well, you're in for all of my first impressions then. Okay. Good. Let's talk about what's there, and then I'll talk about what my feelings are on this. And this is probably not going to be very Mojang friendly, but no, this podcast probably hasn't been all that Mojang friendly so far anyway.
Yeah, we're definitely not on their watch list, that's for sure.
No. Okay, they've added the Armadillo mob, which is the one from the mob vote. It is small. It's a neutral mob. It's not actually neutral, it's passive. It drops scoots periodically, so the little things that you see on the floor in the picture are scoots. And you can also brush them. You can brush them with a copper brush or the thingy brush, and it will drop a scoot. And it won't just drop one. There's no cooldown at all. You just keep brushing and you get infinite scoots. And it works like that on Bedrock and Java. But your brush takes about a quarter damage per brush. So you can only get like 4 scoots from one brush. So there's a trade-off there, which is crazy that you can just get infinite scoots. But realistically, this is for dog armor. How much dog armor are you going to need? Okay, so dispensers can also be used to brush armadillo scoots off armadillos. So if for whatever reason you did want to farm to get as many scoots as possible, you can set that up. And the wolf armor is wolf armor. It apparently has the same what's it called, damage resistance as diamond horse armor. That does
nothing. I mean,
you can click on your dog with it to add it, and you use shears to get it off. You cannot put it on a dog you don't own. You can't put it on an untamed wolf. You can only put it on your dog, and you can only take it off your dog, and you cannot use dispensers to take it on or put it off the dog. Right. A little tidbit. I'm watching a whole bunch of YouTubers do videos on this. Exuma used the Bedrock preview. Put 3 wolves right next to a creeper. In fact, they weren't too close. There's about 2 block distance between the wolves and the creeper by the time the creeper went off. Every single dog died. Whereas Mojang's video, when they showed it blown up next to a creature on their preview thing, and it died, and it was survived. That was on Bedrock. Java Snapshot came out a week after Bedrock's, and I think it was IBX Toycat, I can't remember, put 3 creepers right next to a wolf, blew it up, and the wolf survived. So all 3 wolves survived, sorry. So 3 wolves survived, like direct creeper blast on Java Edition. All 3 died from at least 2 blocks away on Bedrock Edition.
Parody.
Parody. Yeah, it just shows you that the armor values on Bedrock just a total nonsense. It's total random chance whether you take damage on Bedrock. I'm convinced of it.
Yep.
Looking at the picture, Slack, what do you think of the dog armor?
It's horrible.
It is. It's awful, isn't it?
It's ugly. Is it dyeable?
No.
Then I hate it even more.
It is. I quite like the armadillos. They're very cute. There's a lot of feedback to Mojang about the fact that when they're curled up in the ball, their little head and their feet stick out, which Mojang responded to say, well, we did that because we thought it looked cute rather than it being realistic. Apparently people hate that. They also hate the fact that the eyes are on the front of the head, not on the side of the head. And Mojang's response was, oh, yes, but we thought it'd look weird because this is a mob you're going to be spending quite a lot of time with if you can't look at it. And if you look at it and all you see is its forehead, which then calls into questions all the other mobs that just have eyes on the sides of the head, like dolphins and things.
Why does the dog armor make it look like the dog's ripped all of his hair out?
Right? It's so weird. But, okay, follow me on my little conspiracy theory train of thought here.
Okay, I'm all aboard the conspiracy train.
Mojang have been for a long time now, getting a lot of people, including myself, going to them. You could do that. You could make that mob in a couple of days. Why does it take you so long? Right? They've put this out already. It only just came out in the mob vote. I think they've done two things here. They've gone, we don't want to put wolf armor in the game, even though it's one of the most highly feedback requested things for years and years and years. So they've gone, fine, we'll give you wolf armor. We'll make it the most ugliest wolf armor in the world. We'll make it totally non-dieable. And there you go. You got wolf armor. I think that's a big two fingers up to the players, because the players got what they wanted and Mojang didn't want to do it. So I think they've just gone, okay, there you go. There's your wolf armor.
I don't even know if the armor on the wolf is real at this point, because you said you right click it. Okay, so you have no inventory management. Literally, it could be just changing the appearance of the dog to a different color.
Yeah, basically, that all it is just it's another texture layer on the dog. That's all it is.
Yeah, I could literally make that, and I don't even mod anymore hardly for Minecraft. And
no. So yeah, my point is, they've been saying every time people say we could make that mob in a couple of days, we could make that mob in a week, or this, that, and the other. Why does it take so long? And their response is always, oh, there's so many months of planning and meetings and this and that and the other. And I think this time they've gone, okay, guys, right, you want to see how fast we can put a mob out there? There you go. Here's a mob. And I think this is them going, see, it's rubbish. If we do it fast, it's rubbish, but tough. You wanted us to do it fast. The weird thing is, this isn't coming out in 1.21. This is coming out in the next update. This is coming out in probably 1.20.5 on Java Edition and probably 1.20.70 or 80 on Bedrock.
I told you these would come out early.
Why?
Because it's what they've done for the last whatever.
But why? They didn't do it with a sniffer. With the sniffer, they put so much time and effort into that mob, making all of the animations really interesting and giving it that nose thing.
Have you even used the sniffer?
No, I've not. I got one sniffer egg. I never hatched it. I've never seen a sniffer. I've never seen a sniffer in game.
No,
but the fact is, they put a lot of time and effort into it. And this, it just feels like they've gone, right, a quick mob as fast as we can, a quick bit of dog armor as fast as we can. Very, very limited way of doing it. Interact with dog with shears, makes it drop dog armor. Interact with dog armor with, and have you seen that? I mean, it doesn't show it on this picture on the changelog, but if you see the actual texture for the item, the dog armor item is horrendous. It's awful. So
I'm going to start playing modded Minecraft, I swear.
Honestly, my conspiracy theory is that this is Mojang going, right, you want to see it to do it fast? You want to see how fast we can do it? There you go, it's rubbish. This is why it takes us months. But I don't get why they've done it. I don't get why they've made the dog armor so ugly. I don't get why they've made the dog armor that color. It's an awful color. What color is it supposed to be? Okay, it's the color of the armadillo, but it's awful. And it's not dyeable. This is early stages. They might go next week, here you go, it's dyeable now. They might do. I get the feeling they've just gone, no, that's it now.
If they've gone, no, that's it, that's horrible on them. And that's a big shame on you. Because it would make sense. Remember when we were talking about a couple of months ago, when, we introduced the crafter. Okay, now we'll introduce this. You can do this with it and do this with it and do this with it. If they go that route with the dog armor, good. If they go, no, this is it.
But if they'd have done that, they would have been better off going, right, okay, we've cracked the armadillo. Here we go. What do you think? Okay, right, now we've got it to drop a scoot. What do you think? Okay, now we got it there. Now you can craft dog armor. And then you've got this idea that there's something coming next, right? But the fact that they go, no, there's everything from the mob vote, doesn't make you feel like there's something coming next, does it? Now, people are saying, are we going to get a savannah biome update because they spawn into the savannas? And that was one of the things that we were told that we would get an update for eventually.
Yep.
But if they're putting this out in the next minor update, it's not going to be savannah update, is it?
Call me weird, too. I don't know why this one comes to mind. I don't like how every new mob that they're adding, they're passive with their drops, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah, you don't have to kill them to get something from them.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, someone did a thing about that. Oh, whose video? I can't remember whose video it was, but it's like, I think the last mob that actually came out that you killed for something was back in like 2016. So it's been like nearly 10 years.
Well, I mean, the warden, you get something, and like the phantom,
but they're fantasy mobs, aren't they? Like,
yeah.
these are like real life mobs.
So like this makes you're putting another passive mob out there that's just going to eat into the density check, and it's going to eat up your passive mob cap. That provides you an armor for a dog, which nobody's. If it doesn't do nothing like you said it showed in that video, what's the
It doesn't
point?
on Bedrock, but it does on Java. So
Well,
that's just
are
Bedrock being
they
broken.
intentionally? Are they intentionally just like, hey, we'll give you? I can't say that word. We'll give you halfway features on Bedrock Edition, but we'll show you how it should really work on Java. That way we can get you over here.
I think that's just Java Edition's just inability to deal with damage values properly, because it's been like that forever. Like, how many times have we had this same thing with armor? Like, it doesn't matter what armor or protection you're wearing, pretty much is the same. It just feels rushed. It feels really rushed. The fact that you can just keep brushing it and brushing it and brushing it, and there's no cooldown, and you can just get infinite scoops as quickly as you want. The whole thing feels really rushed. And that's why I feel like this is Mojang going, see, we told you, if we don't take our time, if we don't take months and months and months to do something, it's rubbish.
So what's the point of feeding it spider eyes? What, so it can breed more of them?
Yeah, you can breed them up with spider eyes. Yeah, that's what it is. But I don't get it. I don't get why it's coming in a minor update rather than a major update. Save it for 121. Why are you rushing it out? Since when did the mob vote, when we voted for it, mean that has to be out in a couple of weeks' time? The mob vote was only, what, a month ago? Why is it coming? Why is it out already?
I don't know.
Do you want to know what else is interesting, Slack?
What's that?
The crab has also been added to Java Edition. The crab mob from the mob vote. But it hasn't come as a mob. It has come as a command. There are a couple more commands on Java Edition, and one of them is to enable you to reach further, either for entities or for blocks, and you can also do shorter reach as well. And another thing that's come to Java Edition is something that was in the wishlist, Slack. I told you, these things in the wishlist always end up in the game, and that is the ability to make your player absolutely ginormous, and the camera point of view as well, or are really, really tiny, and you can do it with all mobs. Scaling, basically. So now, on Java Edition, you can increase the scale and the reach of players. And I think it looks amazing, and I would really, really like to play with that.
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking is, when they were doing the mob vote this year, did they already have all of the functions and features ready, just in case each one won? And because the Armadillo won, they could just throw it out this quickly? Because otherwise, why would they do the reach thing with the crab?
Look,
unless they'd already figured out
was
they could
the
do
one
it.
they wanted to win. The crab was the one they wanted to win. I'm telling you, that mob vote was hacked.
Well, yeah, probably.
If you consider how rushed this is, I bet you they had all the stuff for the crab done. Why else would you have the commands? Why would you have the commands in there?
That's what I'm saying. Like, how have they managed to have the working crab commands now? Like, I can't see it in the changelog, strangely enough. Maybe there's been another changelog that I haven't
I remember
seen.
seeing the thumbnail to that yesterday from somebody. Yeah,
I've seen it in the video,
on
but it's not in the changelog.
Yeah.
So maybe there's another changelog and I just haven't seen it. But yeah, I don't know. The whole thing's it's just screaming strange at me. It's just all screaming very odd behavior from Mojang, more odd than normal. And I don't get it. And with them saying this is a mob you're likely going to be spending a lot of time with, why? How many players do they think realistically are going to be trying to get wolf armor? Not many. Like, maybe once, just to see. But if it looks like that, no one's going to.
If it's not
no one's going to want the
customizable
dogs
and
to
no
look like
changes.
that. Hey, say that again.
If it's not customizable, a normal survival player is never going to use it. because most people that have dogs don't ever take them out with them. They okay, so at the beginning of a hardcore world, sure, I could see it being useful, but that's more Java than Bedrock Edition. For PvP on Anarchy servers, sure, I could see it being useful there. But for your normal, everyday, vanilla survival player, they're not going to take their dogs out for the chance to die and then put armor on it that does absolutely nothing.
I don't want my dogs looking like that. And you know what the most frustrating thing is, Slack? The most frustrating thing about the dyeable armor is the fact that the collars are dyeable. And the dog's texture actually has, it's a different type of texture file. It's not a PNG, it's a TGA file. And there's a little bit in that texture that basically allows the game to change the hue to whatever it wants based on whatever dye it's been done with. And that's dead easy to do. All they needed to do to make the armor dyeable would be to add it as part of that file. Rather than having it like that, they could have a standard armor, and then when you click that dog with the dye, it would change to the color. Do you remember when on Bedrock, the whole dog used to change color because they messed up that texture file?
Yep.
I could make dog armor within 5 minutes that changed the color depending on the dye without having to create 10 different textures or 16 different textures for each different color dye, because it's just a hue shift. That's how it works. So it's already in the game. It's already there. It's just literally them, instead of adding it as a whole new texture file and then sticking that on the dog, just changing the dog texture file to add that in. It's there already.
I don't know.
So if it's not coming, and if they don't do it, that has sealed it for me. My little conspiracy theory that this is just a big 2 fingers up. Screw you guys. We didn't want this mob.
Yeah.
And I hate saying that about Mojang, because I don't feel like they're like that. But when I've seen the responses to what they've said to people on Twitter, it's just total BS. Total rubbish. Doesn't make any sense. The whole thing doesn't make any sense.
No.
Jeez.
And it feels super, super, super rushed.
And it does feel, and it feels lazy. Like you would expect when it curls up in a ball that it would be stronger. It wouldn't take as much damage, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't. You can kill it just as quick. It doesn't have any more security when it's curled up in a ball. So I just shocking, basically. So there you go. That is the news this week. Sad news. It's not sad news. It's just disappointing, I guess. It's disappointing that yet again we've got the opportunity to have a new feature and they've managed to yet again find a way to just make it thoroughly disappointing. It would have been so if they'd have just gone, yeah, it's dyeable, everyone would have been so happy. What it's like they intentionally don't want us to be happy. I think they are. I really do start to think they are all just jaded by everybody's negativity, and they're just thinking, well, sod it. If you're all going to be negative, then we're going to be negative too. And I just think the attitudes must be just horrendous there at the moment, if that's the sort of thing that they're doing. It wouldn't affect the gameplay in any way at all to make that dyeable.
Yeah, I don't even know.
I don't know. Weird.
I'm not impressed. But then again, who am I?
Who are you? Who are you to be impressed, Slack?
Yeah.
Jeez. Do you want to take us into the bug date, buddy?
Bugdate. Let's see here. First up, we've got Jade, who says, I would like Mojang to make it possible to download content that is purchased from their marketplace. My son begged for a pack. When we finally had time to sit and purchase it, the download screen would just set at 0% downloaded for hours. It's been a known bug since 2019 and is tied to this bug report here.
Yep.
I've seen that before. Yep.
Yeah, it's been one of those weird things that's been in the marketplace for forever. And it's not every single pack. It's not every single thing. Otherwise, it would have been fixed instantly. But it's just weird how it happens. And it's not even like, okay, this pack's happening like that for everybody. It's random, just depending on the person downloading it, when they're downloading it, what device they're downloading it on. And it's just because communicating with the Microsoft servers between that and Minecraft, there's so many layers of security and crazy things that's going on between that and that. There's so many points that it can go wrong. Sometimes it does. And it's one of those things that tries to be clever and remember where you're at with it to see if you've got it. So it's already sent you that thing to say, yeah, you own this. So you try and download it again, it doesn't work. Yep. It's a whole big mess. And unfortunately, that's one of the things where it comes out of Mojang's hand. So Mojang can go so far with it, but the rest of that, the actual download of the file, all that communication is totally handled by Microsoft's systems that had nothing to do with Minecraft at all. And they can't. That's just how Microsoft stuff works, and it's one of those things that's probably going to be there forever because I don't know how they're ever going to fix that.
Yeah, broke.
Okay, next bug is from Lucy, who says, when getting on a horse, I'm teleported back to a former position, sometimes hundreds of blocks back, usually when getting out of the water when pulling the horse across a river with a lead. That reminds me of the boat one. Remember when you should go a long way in a boat, you get out of the boat and the boat would disappear? Yep. But now it's not the horse teleporting, it's the player.
It's the player. That makes sense.
Yeah. So that's a weird one, isn't it? I want to check out the little video for this. Hang on, there's a video here. Okay. For those people watching this rather than listening to it, the horse is in water. They're putting it on a lead. They're taking the horse out of the water. They're taking the lead off, and then the player is now a few blocks in front of where the horse was and inside the floor.
Weird. There where they were when they attached the lead, maybe? I don't know. That's
weird, isn't it?
That's no worse than the teleporting and survival that's still going on.
No. The last bug then, Slack, jeez.
Last bug is from Arcane. It says, I think I just stumbled on a bug. When a jukebox is playing in the overworld and going into the nether, you can hear the jukebox music at the same coordinates as in the overworld. Seems legit.
Yeah, that sounds right. Oh, geez. That's been like that for so many things where the equivalent thing would happen in the nether, and it's just, that's one of those things where they've just forgotten to put a dimension.
Arcane, I bet you if you go to the end too, it'll probably happen there too.
Probably, yeah. Oh man, that's funny. Oh dear. Right. Okay, that's it for the bug date. If you found a bug in Minecraft and you want to share it with us, then you can do by joining the Discord, throwing it in the correct channel there, or putting it in our little website-y formy thing. Why not?
Yeah, with all your other weird things you do all week. Yeah.
Yeah. This week's tip of the week is from Guyver again, who says, when mining, bring a clock with you so you know what time it is when you're planning to go topside. I don't really know why you need to know what time it is. I suppose you can avoid going up while it's dark.
Yeah, I mean, if I break through and I see dark, I'm not going to go out. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I don't know. I just dig up, and if it's dark, it's dark.
Yeah.
One of them things. Take an ender chest, put your bed in your ender chest.
Or just carry your bed, It's only one inventory slot.
Yeah, but then you've got to put it down, and if it's not nighttime, then you can break it again. Just take a clock slot.
Oh my goodness, it's the end of the world as we know it, over having to place a bed.
And beds are bigger, so clearly they took up more room in your inventory than a clock slot. Jeez, come on.
Oh, God, that's not true.
Beds take up 2 spaces in the real world. A clock only takes up 1, so it must be bigger.
Oh, you're hurting my head. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Have you got a life tip of the week for us this week, Slack?
If planning long journeys and or trips, account for rest breaks in your trip.
That's a good idea. Yeah, and try not to go on transport that has no toilets.
Yeah, and journeys. Ones that have proper working air systems. Yeah.
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 That's a really good tip.
The air system off, it gets really hot really fast.
I can imagine. Right. Okay, we've had our week, but now it's time for our week in Minecraft. What have we been up to in Minecraft this week? Well, you're about to find out, Pete, starting with Slack, who has got a few things on your list this week.
Yeah, this week in Minecraft, I finally have sat back down after the last busiest month, I swear, of my life, and started recording some basic tutorials again to get back up on YouTube. Started streaming again, and built a smelter on Slackville, which sent me down a rabbit hole. You remember that giant Impatient Man smelter we built on season 1?
Yeah.
You remember how much redstone was involved in that, right? It was stupid
that was a nightmare. I don't think I ever used that once because I didn't dare.
Yeah. I've been wanting to forever sit down and redo that thing.
Okay.
And so I finally sat down the other morning and started messing with it. And just simple, it's not done yet, but already simplified so much of the redstone.
Oh, really?
Like,
Okay.
took the whole sword sorter out, took out like every circuit on it, and just been redoing it. And it's already so much easier, and just as fast, if not faster.
Oh, wow.
So,
Nice.
working on that because, shock here, surprise, surprise, I'm getting about tired of vanilla Minecraft. And the last couple of days, I've started. I used to mod before truly Bedrock, but it's been so long. It's been a long time since I genuinely started modding. So I downloaded Bridge, and I've been playing with Bridge, learning the basics in Bridge, like recreating new craftable recipes, creating different furnace recipes, creating new items in the game, making new foods. You know that whole thing where we've been talking about where mixed foods with potions? Yeah, I've already started working on that.
Yeah.
I'm starting to play with modding because vanilla is just disappointing anymore.
It is. It's gone stale.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if I'm going to. I want to go down that road of messing with modded stuff. But I'm also one that I just don't look down the road a week. I look down at 6 months. So I look down at a year. And while I'm starting to learn all this, even in the learning stage, I can already see where crap's already changed. And I'm literally just hearing the echoes of you in my head going, I just can't be bothered with it anymore. Do I really want to start making packs and doing things? And then every update they break. And do I want to fix them? Or do I just want to go and like do modded stuff on Java? I don't know.
The thing about Java, obviously you only have to make a mod for one version. And as long as it's a version that's, quite popular with other mods, you're pretty safe that people will be able to play it and they don't have to worry about updating. Problem with Bedrock is that there's no choice. You've got to update.
Not if I'm just making it for me. I've got a version switcher.
Oh yeah, for you, but if you're making it for other people, that's the big problem. Because running a Bedrock server is a nightmare. Because as soon as the update comes out, my iPad's updated. When are you going to update the server? Well, it's probably going to be a week because I'm going to wait for the hotfix to come out.
Though, I can argue against that in a way because Java servers, they stay on the same server, and I'm sure that people, I really want this feature. Well, tough.
Yeah.
Does that mean I would limit my audience of people who could play it? Sure, but does that mean I have to update every time that there's a game update? No, I don't have to.
No.
No,
and I don't think no one's really taking... If he was doing it for Java, great. It's just doing something like that to share with people on Bedrock. You would be forever just inundated with people going, when are you going to update it? When are you going to update it? Whereas you don't get that on Java. Like some people will. I'd really like you to update this to the latest version, but no, this for this version.
Yeah. Well, why does it have to be the same thing on Bedrock? Why can't someone take a stance and be like, nope, my mods only work for this?
Because people literally don't have a choice but to update on certain platforms. Not everybody
that's not my fault that they don't have a PC. I'm sorry. Hey, I love you. I'm glad you have Minecraft. I'm glad you play on the iPad. And that's great. I'm glad you're here. But that doesn't mean I have to update everything I do just because you're on an iPad.
True.
How many people have Bedrock Edition because they can't run it on their computer? You know what I mean? Oh, well, I got it on my phone. That's great. But that doesn't mean that the people making the mods on Java have to update just so you can do it on your phone. You know what I mean? It's the same kind of argument.
It is. It's just, that's my frustration where it comes from. It's just not how Bedrock works. It's just not what's expected from people that play Bedrock. People that play Bedrock expect you to keep up with it because they don't have a choice but to keep up with it. And when their game updates and your thing breaks, that's sad for them. And they want you to fix it so that they're not sad anymore. Especially if it's something that has let's say you make a pack with custom blocks and those custom blocks break between one update. They go into their world, all those blocks are gone and they've got that weird update texture on. You've got to update it. Otherwise, that's their world ruined.
Sorry, but like if I go to make something, which I'm seriously considering it. I've already put a little bit of time into it. I've been like going through and doing, these are just silly things that I want to do. Okay. So like I've been rewriting recipes for the blast furnace, real simple things. If I put cobble into a blast furnace, I want it to spit out gravel. If I put gravel in, I want it to spit out sand. And it's specifically only with the blast furnace. You know, I don't want to be able to just take and craft cobble to this. I want to be able to do it a specific way. I want to have to, in my book, earn what I want. But I'm just going about it a different way. That doesn't mean I have to update the world that I'm playing on with that just because the game updates.
No, you don't have to. No, if you're just doing it for you, that's absolutely fine. Yeah. Do what you want. But I'm just saying, if you had decided, all right, hey, everybody, I've made these mods, you should download them or play with them. They're really good fun. And everybody does. Then you're just going to get a lot of complaints next update. Trust me, I know.
There's this amazing thing called ignoring and selective hearing, and I am really good at that. I'm just putting that out there.
Well, I'm impressed that you're learning Bridge. I tried that. It's changed a lot since I tried it. I think it's on version 2 now. When I tried it, I hated it because I've always coded everything in code. But the
it's on version 2. So every tutorial on YouTube is on version 1.
Yeah.
So just getting some basic stuff to work was a nightmare.
Yeah. That's why I like writing it from scratch, because if you know what you're doing, you can see it and you can figure it out and you can find where the problems are. Whereas Bridge, I found with version 1 at least, everything's sort of hidden behind this. Oh, these are the basic options. You can click this, this, and this, and then you can expand that. And I just find you kind of get lost in it all. And then
it's nice for using the I can then see now, like some of the things I've already learned. I wouldn't go through what they call the tree mode. I would just go into the code mode because I understand a few things. But for learning some basics, their tree editor is really good. But then after you learn it, you're
didn't have that before.
But then after you learn it, you don't need that no more.
No.
It's like it took me a while to figure out how to do some of the stuff that I wanted to do with food. But once I got it to work, it's like I don't need it now. You know, no. I know what to do. I can just take the one I already got that works and just change this and give it this effect with that and change this saturation. I'm slowly starting to understand. So I'm having fun learning.
It didn't have a code editor before. That was my issue. Whereas now it does, doesn't it? You can actually look at the code in Bridge. But it didn't exist. And that's what irritated me, because I was like, I know what the problem is and I want to just tweak it, but I'm going to have to load that up in a different program now just to tweak it to send it back. So, it was really irritating. But no, sounds like it's pretty good now, to be honest with you. From everything I've heard, people rave about it.
It's, you better be ready if you're new and you're considering using it. You better be ready to use the Bedrock dev site a lot.
Oh, I was on that site every day for a long time. It's a really useful site. There.
It is. The amount of stuff you can do is amazing, but
it doesn't have everything though. There's tricks on that you can do that they don't know about.
I imagine.
Yeah. In fact, there's actually quite a lot more stuff on the Microsoft Learn pages than there is on Bedrock Dev, but Bedrock Dev does lay it out a lot better and it's a lot easier to understand. But if there's more stuff you want to learn, there is on the actual Microsoft Learn pages themselves. There's a whole bunch of stuff on there that Bedrock Dev, they're pretty good. They've got like 99% of it, but there's a few things that they're behind on.
Well, I'm getting there. I imagine it's going to be something I sit down and mess with a couple hours a day, because I've already started making stuff and testing it out in game, and I'm having fun with it. So we'll see where it goes. I don't know, but I don't really like the idea of, okay, I'm going to go through the time to put in these custom blocks and stuff like that, and then they're going to break it next update. No, I'm going to stay on the same one until I'm ready.
Fair enough. I don't blame you. No, I don't blame you at all. I would love to do that. I'd love to have the guts to do that and just turn around. Well, I kind of have now, haven't I? I've gone, well, tough. If it breaks
you
now,
literally
tough.
did. You literally did. You literally just said at the beginning of this podcast, well, if my add-ons break, tough.
Yeah, well, I wish I'd had the guts to do that for a long time, I guess, is what I mean. Jeez. Anyway, my week in Minecraft, I have been building chocolate factories in Minecraft Create mod. I didn't mean this to tie in with the new release of the Willy Wonka film, but I guess it kind of did. I've had a lot of, are you Willy Wonka in your comments? But yeah, I went down a rabbit hole totally by accident. I was doing. I made a big farm that produced all the different like food you could grow, and also like a bunch of different like meat things, and it would sort it all out, and it would send it over to this building and store it all. And then I automated being able to cook everything, so all these different amazing meals to cook. And then I thought, right, okay, I'm gonna the building next to it. I want to do as like I wanted to make chocolate. I knew there was chocolate in the game, and I knew there was a bunch of candy bars, and that's all I thought there was. I didn't realize how many different things there were. So I built this building, I got it all set up. I got little chocolate making machines in there, and it was a big building. And then I'm all of a sudden, I'm like, wait a minute. And I looked through the list of all of the different, like, not just foods, but sweet tooth things. So like candy canes, candies, ice lollies, honey rolls, you name it. And it was about like all the different apple pie, not mustard pie, what's it called? There's a custard. Anyway, the list was just insane. There was about at least 50 different sweet, like confectionery things that there was to make. And I decided I could only go so far with this realistically in this area, because otherwise the amount of space I would need to do all of those things would be bigger than that entire area that I'm working on in the world at the moment. So further down the line, I think I'm going to have a full on like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory with chocolate rivers and all that sort of stuff going on, just to do all that. I think that'd be really good fun. Yeah, well, there's these little conductor fellows you can make. They don't move around, but you can make like little people, and I'm going to get them like as if they're working in the chocolate factory. So that's down the line anyway. It's not yet.
Oh, that's great.
And so I was. I kind of my last few videos, I haven't really been taking on massive projects, and as a result, I recorded like the last 2 or 3 relatively quickly compared to normal, and they've actually performed a lot better than I thought they would because of that. And so at the end of the last one, I was already pretty much finished with the next one. So I got that one done, got that out, and I was like 3 days. I'm 3 days ahead of where I normally would be. This is great. Okay. Anyway, so now I'm 2 days behind. I don't know how it's happened. Probably something to do with moving server stuff around in my house and new TVs and furniture and Christmas and all that sort of stuff.
Probably.
Yeah, I was 3 days ahead. I had 3 full days of window of like, I've already recorded half the next episode. The next one's only just going out. It's only going to take me a day to record and edit the rest of this. Oh, brilliant. And it's gone, and now I'm behind. I should have had an episode out today, and I only just finished it this evening, just before we started the podcast, really. So that's going to take a whole day to edit that tomorrow. So it's probably not. It's not going to come out tomorrow, which would be my like backup day. So it's probably going to be what's a good day for it to come out on? We're nearly at Christmas, aren't we? Can't do Sunday. That's Christmas Eve. So maybe Saturday, I guess, 23rd.
Yeah, but you still got to edit that. Then you got to edit the podcast too.
Well, if I edit that tomorrow, that's all day done tomorrow, and then I'll edit the podcast first thing Friday morning like normal and get it out a bit late.
Oh, goodness gracious. That's how it always happens.
Yeah, so there we go. That's our weeks in Minecraft. Sounds like there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. If you're interested in any of those things, you can, of course, find us on our channels on YouTube, and we would appreciate a subscribe. So, yeah, subscribe. Yep.
Go now. Are you still listening?
No,
I mean,
no,
what?
keep listening. What? Well, actually, it doesn't matter. Yeah, just go. I'd rather. I don't need to get to the end of this podcast. It doesn't make any difference to me at all. I'm just talking for no reason at this point. Jeez. Okay. Wish list then. We got a bunch of wish list things. Do you want to start us off, Slack?
Sure. We got Lucy up first. It says, can we please make shulker boxes that have items in them never despawn if you break them and think you pick it up only to find out 5 minutes later that you did not?
Yeah, shulker boxes shouldn't despawn, in my opinion. They should not have a 5-minute timer.
Yeah, that seems legit.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should be like nether stars. I'm pretty sure nether stars don't despawn, do they? Or what's the other thing that doesn't despawn? There is an item that doesn't despawn. Pretty sure it's nether stars.
I think at one point nether stars didn't, but I think they do now.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sure there was an item that didn't. But anyway, yeah. I don't think tools, like especially enchanted tools, anything like that should despawn when it's just on the ground. Anything valuable.
It just makes sense. If it hit my inventory, it should have a tag on it saying "Don't despawn."
Yeah, but I don't mind, like, if you got a handful of wood, fine. You know, you have to go chop that wood up again. That's a bit annoying, but what are you going to do? But when it's all your tools and armor and equipment and your shulker boxes full of all your precious stuff, that's really annoying when that happens.
Why don't the nether stars despawn then?
Oh, and maybe it's just that they don't get exploded or something. I can't remember. There was something about, I'm sure there was an item that didn't despawn. I can't remember what it is now. I'm sure it was nether stars, probably because players are likely to die at the same time, especially on Bedrock when the wither explodes at the end. That doesn't happen on Java, I don't think. Or is it they don't explode at the beginning on Java? I can't remember. But yeah,
I don't remember.
There'll be a reason for it. Okay, Robo Rufus says, "Hi Foxy and Slack. I've been playing Terraria and the inventory management is much better than Minecraft. They have a button that fast stacks to nearby chests. It doesn't do anything to your hotbar or armor. Another one that organizes it automatically, and adding these things would improve the inventory a lot. Thanks for the great podcast." I think we've said it before. Having sort buttons on your inventory would be great. I'm sure we've got that in the good ideas bin already.
Yep. Same with the whole wireless. If I push a button in my inventory, if I've got 3 stacks of stone, they go into the chest that has the stone that's wirelessly broadcasted. Yep.
Jade Vixen says, "Gold swords, I want them to despawn." Yeah, I said enchanted items. Although I suppose a lot of the gold swords coming from your pigment farm probably got enchantments on anyway, but still, I still think they should not despawn just in case it's yours. Anyway, next wish list.
Nevergirl's up next says, "Hey Foxy and Slack, 2 words. Soulsand candles. Maybe the recipe could use some Soulsand and a candle. Anyways, keep up the pod. Keep up the good work."
Love the pod. Keep up the
work. Brain.
I'd call them soul candles rather than soul sand candles. Little candles with a blue flame.
Don't we already have blue candles?
No, not candles. Blue campfires, blue fire, but not candles. I don't see why not. Why shouldn't we?
We got soul torches. We got soul. Yeah, candles that burn blue. Yeah, I'm all for that. It took me a minute to realize what they were talking about. I'm like, but we've got. No, we don't.
I know the recipe would be a bit awkward because you've got to squeeze your honeycomb and your soul sand in there. But if you want blue torches, why not? You want blue candles, why not? Yeah. So it's not like soul sand's difficult to get hold of, is it?
Yeah, no, I agree. Yep.
Okay.
I like it.
Cold Reindeer. It says, "Increase hunger and damage maximum amounts, and in return increase damage and some food points to compensate. Originally, the current max health was intended for old mobs from the early days, but having a new higher max health could allow for mobs having much higher damage to players without being too OP. To compensate, current mobs could do more damage so they don't feel weak, and the tools could do more damage, etc. Also, essentially having a similar thing for hunger and food, having higher also maximum hunger amount. I feel like it could rebalance some aspects from the game to match current gameplay more. Of course, if done badly, it could make things worse, but if done right, would be highly worthwhile." Oh dear, Slack. Well, I think what Cold Reindeer has done here is gone, right, instead of everything at the shop at the dollar store being $1, everything at the dollar store is now $10, but also your wages have increased by 10%. That's just called inflation. It doesn't make any difference at all. The number is bigger, but the effect is the same, right? So they're going, if we just have more health and more damage and more this, but also we're going to up how much food does and how much. What's the point? Why? If you're going to put the top end up and also bring the bottom end up, all you're doing is shifting the whole thing up. What's the point?
Well, and let's go with Bedrock too. Bedrock, you don't even really need diamond armor. You get away with iron. You don't even really need armor for the most part with most mobs in Bedrock Edition, aside from the Warden and maybe the Wither. Just adding more hearts is not going to... You want to keep a balance in there, and finding a balance is hard.
Yeah, but they're saying add more hearts, but also increase the amount of damage. And they're saying that would be great for new mobs being able to do more damage. Great, but then they say the old mobs should do more damage too. So they're not... So basically, they're just they're moving your hearts across. They're making the first 3 of your hearts totally irrelevant because you've got 3 more, but they're going to do more damage. So you're just going to lose them faster.
Sorry, Code Reindeer. No. No, you get the first Noah today.
What you've done is you've invented inflation, Cold Reindeer. It's not good. No one likes it.
No, we're currently living in it. None of us like it.
Yeah.
You know? Except we're not getting the extra bonuses from our food right now. Yeah, just saying.
Which country is it where, like, I know there's a few of them out there, but where I don't know, I want to say it was Spain before they moved to the euro, where everything just went from being like however many pesetas it was to being millions of pesetas, but the wages did the same because just inflation went through the roof. So they just
it's like
outcome.
the situation going on here in states that don't even monitor minimum wage, right? They changed the price of a gallon of milk to $5, and then the people flipping burgers suddenly get moved up to $18 an hour. Now the price of milk goes up to $10 a gallon. It doesn't change nothing. Anyways,
Anyways,
yeah. Arcane is up next and says, "I would love for hoppers to be able to interact with grindstones so that you can basically bulk disenchant stuff.
Yep.
Just finished a raid farm, and it would be a great addition if I could throw all the armor I get into chest, and the XP kind of rolls out, and then the unenchanted armor goes into the smelter, or the XP stays in until you manually pull it out, break the grindstone." Yeah,
like a
good.
furnace.
I like it.
Yeah. Why not? Why does that not exist already? That's so stupid that it doesn't. Good idea.
It's a good idea, but what do you do when an unenchanted armor rolls up into it? Then does it just pass straight
same
through?
as a furnace. It just doesn't do anything. It just clogs it up, like when you get a bit of powered rail in it by mistake.
Okay, yeah, sounds good. I like it. Yep, good. So
Nevergirl is back saying, "Hey, Foxy and Slack, I've always loved the chicken mob. Whenever I play Minecraft, the first thing I do is get a pet chicken and name him Dinner. No, I don't eat him. I'm not a monster. But I think it would be cool to have different variations of chickens. Anyway, love the podcast. Keep up the good work. Nevergirl was killed by chickens. I don't think you'd like chickens as much if there was different variations. I think you like the chicken because it's the chicken. You suddenly add a whole bunch of different chickens. That chicken's not going to mean as much to you. So no, I don't think we should add variations of chickens.
It'd be like Pokemon. They want to catch them all.
Yeah, but which one do you call Dinner then? You'd have loads of chickens called Dinner and it'd just be confusing.
Dinner 1, Dinner 2, Dinner 3. Monday, Tuesday's dinner, Wednesday's dinner, Thursday. I mean,
wow.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I mean,
fair enough.
Right, okay, we got nobody up again that says an enchantment for crossbows called Precision. It would increase the amount of blocks by 10 before the arrow starts to drop off, maybe 3 levels.
I'll tell you what. Have you heard of this thing in the game? It's called a bow. It's basically a crossbow, but it fires further and it's more precise. Why would anyone use a crossbow?
I don't know. I don't know. There's such a joke for Bedrock Edition.
This is just a joke in general. I've never liked crossbows.
They're not useful. You know, you can't even argue the fact that the exploding arrows or firework rockets are even useful, because Bedrock Edition, it doesn't work. Java Edition, it does. You know, but Bedrock Edition, no, it's got to travel X number of blocks before it goes off. So shoot that thing at a wall and just watch it go down the wall. No, it's horrible.
Right, that's it for the wish list. If you would like to leave us a wish, we guarantee that 100% any wishes that make it into the good ideas bin will eventually end up in Minecraft, and proof is in the pudding today. That thing that's in Java Edition that we put in the wish list is all because of us, honest. It's nothing to do with Mojang. Of course they listen to this, and of course we've got direct contact with them. Of course, that means that we are the ones secretly that are adding all these things to Bedrock, not Mojang. True story.
That's why, you know, it's been a busy couple of weeks, so that's why the wolf is just so...
Yeah, that's what we did a bad job with the wolf. We're sorry. I'm sorry.
Been a busy.
Been a bit busy. I got a new TV.
He got a new TV. I was traveling, and then I was sick. You know, we can't help it. Sorry.
That's why the dog armor's rubbish. Oh dear. Okay, right. Questions, Slack. Start us off. Speaking of which,
Kitty.
if you've got, hang on, if you're in the live chat and you want to ask us a question, throw it in the live questions channel, and we'll see how many we can get to.
Right, Danger Kitty's up first and says, "How is working on create videos now that you're a solid 2,000 days in?"
Well, it doesn't quite have the same shine as it did when I first started the world, but as I just said a minute ago with this confectionery stuff, I keep finding more and more things that I haven't ever found before, and there's just more and more stuff to do. I think I could find like different buildings and different systems and different items to craft for a very long time. I will admit that building after building after building is getting a little bit tedious in places. There are certain things I would change and improve overall, but I could say that about Minecraft itself. I'm still really enjoying it. I still really like the mods. It still gets me excited, and I still look forward to playing it every day. So yeah, it's good.
Good.
Guyver says, Foxy and Slack, do you guys ever get mentally locked up on releasing content for fear of how it will be received, and how do you work through it? Every video, yeah.
I don't know what they mean by mentally locked on releasing content. Like,
I guess just like, I took that as, do you get like worried about it? Do you panic about it? Do you think, oh, it's not going to do very well? How's it going to be received? Is it going to be bad? Should I change the thumbnail?
well, that's a normal every video thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Stress about everything before it goes live. And then you just sort of sit there and find out how it's going to go. And you're either relieved or annoyed.
Yeah.
How do you work through it? You just do your best. Just do your best. The best is all you can do. If you feel happy with the effort you've put into it, then if it does well, great. If it doesn't, don't worry about it. Move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's difficult though. Sometimes you might have done something in your world or something that doesn't really equate well to a thumbnail or a title, and you think, how can I package this up to make it work? And that's really stressful. And sometimes it's dead easy. You've done something, you think, that's a great thumbnail, I can do that. But yeah, it's always stressful. Every video is stressful.
I think the more you do it and the more consistent you are with it, the better it is. As far as the mental lock goes, it's like live streaming. Like if I told Foxy right now, "Hey, let's go live tomorrow," or in 30 minutes, he'd panic because he hasn't done it in so long. While it's something, if you do it every day and you work on it every day, it's not as bad. Like my example of being mentally locked. The last month I've been busy. I've done like no videos on my channel. I hadn't even released a video on my channel in over a month and a half. I've been too busy. Life's just totally taken over. So I hit a case of mentally locked the other day when I sat down to record a tutorial. I sat down, I knew what I needed to do. I knew the video would be less than 10 minutes. It took me all day long to record that because every time I went to record, I constantly, I need to go do this, or I need to go do that, or I need to go do this. I just procrastinated and procrastinated and procrastinated. So as far as when the video goes out, and that's kind of something you get used to. You anticipate, oh my God, am I going to see a 1 of 10 or am I going to see a 10 of 10? Am I going to get comments or am I not going to get comments? Those are what I consider to be just normal aspects of it. Mentally locked, though, is the challenge to do what you need to do, even when you don't want to do it. That's my biggest fight. I don't know. Maybe I took that all wrong.
No, if that's what they're getting at, and what I find the best way to deal with that is I get like that when I wing it, and I generally wing it anyway. And when I get like that, what I do is I go, right, I'm going to write all this down and I'm going to work out on my notepad. Not I used to use a physical one, but now I do it on like the notepad on the PC.
Yeah.
What am I looking to do in this video? And I always end up planning way too much. And by the time I'm 2/3 through it, I've already got a video that's too long. But I go, right, I'm going to start by doing this. And then I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to do that. And those things can be like, okay, I'm going to talk about what I did in the last video. Then I'm going to go and make a little machine that does this. And then I need to do a time lapse of building this. And then I need to talk about how that's gone and how it looks and just break it down bit by bit. And then you've got exactly what you need to say. And I find when I actually do that planning, and I should do it more, my videos are much better. And I'm a lot less stressed about them.
You know, I was just sitting here thinking, when TB first started and I first started recording videos, season 0, I was kind of but season 1 and season 2, I used to do that. I had notepads where I used to jot stuff out.
Yeah.
And I quit doing that in season 3 or 4. And to be honest with you, I pretty much hated recording on those seasons.
When you've got a plan, even if it's just one you've written 5 minutes before you start, it makes it a lot easier. It almost feels like you got someone holding your hand going through it.
Yeah, because season 1, I planned my base in advance. I knew what I was going to build from day 1, more or less. Same with season 2. Huh.
I don't always know what things are going to look like, because mine will be as bland as build a building. I have no block palette, no predetermined things. My block palette is what I got in my inventory generally, so.
Well, I've still got the notebooks around. I can remember planning like my next 10 episodes. Okay, so this episode I'm going to roughly do this, and this one I'm going to roughly do that, and this one that. Quit doing that. Why did I quit doing that?
Because you got into the habit of just doing recording, and then you realized, I can just do it without that, and then you forget about it. That's what I did.
Yeah, but then when I started doing that, that's when I absolutely started hated editing. Interesting.
Maybe go back to doing that.
I feel a change on the wind.
It does make a big difference. It makes life a lot easier until you get really smart and you go, okay, I'm going to plan out the next 3 videos. And then you realize your first one's gone over like double length, and then you're like, I've got to squeeze half of that into the next one now.
Well, bonus content.
Bonus content. Right. Okay. Next question.
Where are we at here? That's Slow as Molasses is up next. It says, hi, guys. I imagine you've heard about Lego Fortnite by now. Have you ever played it? And if so, what are your thoughts? No and no.
No,
I haven't. Not interested.
I have heard of it. It's a big thing. Everyone's calling it the new Minecraft. I can't see it being the new Minecraft. It's basically an add-on for Fortnite. It looks like it's pretty good. People seem to be enjoying it. They're doing a lot of work on it. I despise Fortnite and everything about it because of things. So I'm probably not going to play this, but I'm more interested in playing this than I am normal Fortnite. I was actually going to put this in the news. This was going to be one of this week's news things, but then when I realised how much other stuff we had to go through, I decided to skip it out because I saw there was a question about it. But we could talk about it there. But yeah, it's by the looks of things, quite a watered down version of Minecraft, but with Lego, and it's built inside of Fortnite. And apparently they're doing like a Rocket League thing as well, like a racing thing. So basically, Fortnite is not just the shooting game; it's now, if you like, a hub to all of these other types of games as well. And I think it's a great idea from Epic because they've absolutely nailed it with Fortnite. And if they've already got people in that game, yeah. Add in, like I keep saying for Minecraft, don't make Minecraft Legends, add in another game mode inside of Minecraft. And that's exactly what Epic have done here. See, I tell you, I'm smart. I know what to do, but nobody listened to me. Epic have obviously been listening to the podcast and thought, that's a great idea. Let's get in touch with Lego.
Let's take that and run with it, yeah.
And it's great, yeah, and people are like all over it. It's already massive, so, Good to them. I'll look at it. If my kids get interested in it, I might have a play with it, but we'll see. Speaking of which, no, I can't say that on the podcast in case Oliver listens to it, but I know what Oliver's getting for Christmas. And I think he's going to be happy. Right. And on a side note, totally unrelated, I got to build a new PC the other day. Not unrelated. Yeah.
Unrelated, okay. Right, gotcha.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was good fun. Building a budget PC with a micro ATX motherboard in a small case, and borrowing one of the spare 3060 cards I bought for that server thing ages ago. That was really good fun. I enjoyed that.
In a small case, that'd be like me putting my 2070 Super in the micro case that it was in. It took up the whole case.
I really want to build a small PC now. I can't afford to just buy the components, but I really want to build like a media center style PC, but with everything in it. I don't know why.
Y'all have heard this too many times. Y'all have heard this too many times. 2 weeks or next podcast or the podcast after that, Fox is like, well, I was on Amazon.
No, I was looking at So I'm so bad, Slack, right? My old PC that I used to do all of this on, there's nothing wrong with it. The motherboard's a bit sketchy. It always has been since the day when I bought it, but only to the point where there was 2 things wrong with it. If I had any external hard drives plugged in, it wouldn't boot. Don't know why. It just never
Same
would.
With my spare one. Yep.
And when I turn it on, it would power up, turn immediately off, everything off, and then come back on again. And it does. It's always done that. It's annoying, but it's always done it. That's only if I've turned it off at the wall. If I don't turn it off at the wall and just leave the power on, it's fine. Boots straight up. So I had that I've always had big PC cases. I was in a big PC case, and I decided a long time ago, going back to my stuff in the garage, this networking stuff. I got a little networking rack, and I bought a 4U PC case to go into that. And I took all of the stuff out of the PC case it was in, I put it in that, and I thought I'm going to use, because this is when I was all into this AI stuff. So that's when I got those used 3060s on eBay, and I was doing all this AI voice stuff, and I was doing AI pictures and things like that. And I don't do it anymore. It's totally wasted. So I just sat there doing nothing. I thought, and the other day I was like, I want to play Cyberpunk now. I really want to play Cyberpunk now that it's been fixed and it's got that update. I bought it when it first came out, tried it didn't work, and I really want to play it. But I want to play it on my TV. I tried Steam Link. I've tried Steam Linking it through. In fact, yesterday I've got an NVIDIA Shield TV thing. It's got Steam Link built into it. And the delay on it, I press down on the controller and it's literally a second before it does anything on the screen. Yeah. Okay. And I was like, I've got these 2 Raspberry Pis kicking about now, doing nothing. I wonder if they can run Steam Link, if they would be any better. So I followed some tutorials online, got one of those running it, and it run fine. And there was almost no delay at all, but it was only in 30 frames a second. I was like, I could do better than that. This is Cyberpunk. I want to appreciate my new TV in all its glory. So I was like, I've got that computer sat there in the garage. So I'm laid in bed last night on Amazon going, okay, if I can buy another motherboard for that, and then I get a new case for it that's small, and by the time I finish looking, I'm like £300 or £400 in, and I'm like, whoa, because it's an i9-9900K. You can't get motherboards for that anymore. Cheapest motherboard you can buy for that is £150. So if I want to keep my old processor but get a small motherboard, that's £150 gone already. If I keep the giant motherboard that it's already got, which isn't very good, I'm going to need a much bigger case. It's not going to fit in my TV cabinet. But then it's going to be cheaper. I could use the old case I've got for it and just plonk it near the TV, but then it's going to look ugly. I just want something small that's going to sit there, and I've got half the stuff, but it's the CPU's slightly too old. So then I'm thinking, okay, I'll get the next gen CPU, or I'll get the same one I got Oliver for his. I don't know what Christmas presents he's got. I'll get that one, and because that CPU was only 150 quid, and I'm like, oh no, but now I'm up to like 500 quid. So I was like, no, stop. I'm not doing it. I don't need to do it. I'll just play it on the PC. I do not need to play it on the sofa. But I really I'd love to be able to successfully stream my PC to my TV. And I can't find a good way of doing it. NVIDIA had like GeForce Now, which kind of works, but it kind of doesn't. It's a little bit like Steam.
Have you considered just going a lot simpler and just splitting your video cable
to the far.
PC?
I'd need to get optical cables and all sorts, and then if I'm sat at the controller, Bluetooth won't reach. 2 different rooms, too far away.
Well, just
I thought about
change
that.
rooms.
Yeah, I'd love it. I'd love to not have so many things plugged into this PC that I need to stay plugged in for like recording. So I could just like take that PC and just put it in the front room when I want to play on it. What? Wouldn't that be nice? Or I could spend $49.99 and buy Cyberpunk again, get it on the PS5. But then if I start playing it and decide I really need to play this with keyboard and mouse, I'm going to be really annoyed.
Don't you have a laptop as well?
I've got a laptop. If I try to run Cyberpunk on that, it would scream. I could probably run Steam Link through it, though.
That's where I was going with it. And then just HDMI from the laptop to the monitor. So you run Steam Link through from one computer to the laptop, and then you just have your laptop sitting there that you hook up to your TV.
Ooh, that might work.
There's more than one way to go about it.
That is a good idea. Good thinking. I hope the latency is not as bad. I can't understand why the latency was so bad on that NVIDIA Shield though, where the Raspberry Pi was no latency at all, but the NVIDIA Shield was awful. I don't get it. It's like that's what it's designed for.
Something worth trying. I mean, it's literally just moving your laptop to the other room. I'm sure you move it around all the time.
Yeah, it was a laptop. That's what it's for.
Yeah, exactly.
It's what it does, Slack. It's like its job.
Yeah. It's weird how that works.
The Raspberry Pi at 30 frames per second was a bit jittery as well. And there was a little hack to make it do 60 frames per second. And it would play the game for 3 seconds at 60 frames a second and then just die. So that didn't work. And the other thing is, Wi-Fi's got so much better than it used to be. So I think I said a while back I got that Ubiquity like Wi-Fi thing that's on my wall. Normally I've always used power line adapters, you know, where you plug it into your mains. You plug it in the mains in one room, put your Ethernet cable in it, plug it in the mains in another room, put another Ethernet cable in, and they've always been great. But my Wi-Fi is so much faster than those things. It's crazy. I tried to do Steam Link through the power line adapter, and it was just like, nah, it's too slow, mate. Did it through the Wi-Fi, which is in like a different room. It's great.
I've ran into that minor issue here recently. I've got 3 different USB capture cards, and I've been trying to set up my main rig to be my gaming rig and my laptop to be the one that streams. And I've got it all set up. But the quality of the capture cards, it loses so much.
Really? That's interesting.
It loses so much. It's the colors are, by the time that it outputs, even if I record instead of just streaming, it loses so much quality, and it doesn't matter what I do with them. It's like, I don't know what to change. And they're not the cheapest USB capture cards, but they're not the most expensive neither. And I'm starting to wonder, is this one of those things where it's really going to be, you get what you pay for?
Probably.
Because I don't really want to keep losing quality and do that. But like if I try to play Call of Duty and I say I want to stream Call of Duty, well, you know as well as I do, OBS can be a bit of a hog sometimes. And just having that open in a very intense game and your browsers and everything else. I mean, I got the 11th gen i9. I've got my 2070 Super. I've got 128 gigs of RAM. I've got the NVMe's. You know, I've got all the stuff. Why am I
struggling?
Why can't I have both of those things open and it runs smooth?
Yeah.
That's why I've been trying to do that, and it's annoying me. Yeah.
I've been having exactly that same issue with the with Minecraft Java, because there's just so much going on in that Create world now. It's really pushing back, even though it's running on a server. It's just my PC is struggling. So I've got an Elgato HD60X, which is a capture card, and what I did, I thought I'm going to be smart here. I'm going to come out of the PC, out of the HDMI port of the PC that my monitor goes into, and run my monitor that I play Minecraft on through the capture card, and then run and capture that capture card in OBS. And I've recorded this entire video that I've just done. I haven't edited it yet, so I hope it's all right. But checking the footage, it looks great. But then I turned the PC on to do the podcast tonight, and half of my screen was overlapped with the other half when I turned it on. And I'm like, So I had to unplug it all again. But I thought, I'm being really, but recording that last video, no frame issues at all. Everything running so much smoother, just like capturing my own PC through a capture card.
It's I don't know. I don't know. It really annoys me there. Like, good God, with these computers, because we don't have snowflake computers. They're really good. You're telling me I can't play a AAA game and record it at the same time? No, screams too much problems for your computer. Really,
I'm seriously considering, another thing I've been considering hardware-wise is like actually getting a water cooling system so that I can overclock the PC a bit, because it's stupid that we've got these powerful PCs that are more than capable of running these games at like ultra settings, yet you try and record them and then you stutter. It's bizarre.
No, you're talking about for your CPU, water cooled?
And GPU, I was looking at that as well.
Well, I don't have a GPU, but I got my CPU overclocked and water cooled, and I still run into those issues.
It was, is that an all-in-one water cooler though?
No.
Oh, is it like proper like pump and everything? Oh, really? Okay. Maybe that's not so good then. I was looking at these because you can get external ones, like a big tower. You know, like tower fans that spin round. like one of those,
Yep.
just a couple of pipes going off that and then running in. And I thought, well, I could drill a couple of holes in the walls, put that outside, so it's getting cold air and having the just the water coming in into the PC here. But then I thought it'd probably freeze in the winter, so maybe not the best idea.
Yeah. The next thing on my list of upgrades is getting out of the 2070 series. I'm probably going to a 40 series that's less power hungry, because that 2070 is power hungry.
The 40 series are much more, they're much better for power, much better, but they're still really expensive. And like, I've got the 3080 Ti. That's equivalent in terms of like how good it is at frames per second as the 4070 Ti, but it's half the price.
Yeah.
So
might look at that too.
Yeah, I think I'll probably wait for the 50 series to come out before I seriously think about upgrading again.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Right, anyway, questions. Where are we up to? Victim. It's you, I think. Oh, no, it's me.
Says that. Yeah, it is you. Yep.
I've recently started playing Vintage Story. Have either of you played it? I've never heard of it. What is it?
Never heard of it.
Okay, next question.
Not a clue. Nobody. 2023 is upset. Next, it says, if the frying table is really coming to Minecraft, what would you guys like to make with it? I personally would like steak and potatoes sort of thing. I would like full meals that added more than just, oh, you get 2 haunches returned and a little bit of saturation.
I just like just more interesting things. Like this create stuff that I'm doing. I've made all of these automated meals. They don't give me any more than golden carrots do, but it's just fun having something else to play with.
That's fair too. Yeah. I can get behind either which way with that. Yep.
Yeah. Lorenzo's got 2 questions for me. Have you considered adding better snow mod pack to your create world? I've been watching another series that has one. It makes snow layers look much nicer. I'll answer that one first. I've thought about it, but there's already millions of mods on my mod pack. And as much as I am working in the snowy area at the moment, I'm not going to be for long. And I also think I'm really impressed with it. I'm really proud of the area that I made. And when I get to the end of this part of the area, when I'm moving away from this, my last episode is going to be a big old tidying up, making everything look more beautiful, more snow layers, more different variations of snow. So I don't think I need it. So, but thank you. Next question. Will you be going back to streaming anytime soon? I miss it.
I can answer that for you. Not while everything else is going successful.
Yeah, I don't have any desire to at the moment. I don't have any feelings like I need to. Sometimes I miss it. I do miss that connection with the community quite a lot. I do miss chatting with you all. And when I'm doing long like builds and I've run out of podcasts, I've run out of something to listen to, I often think it would be nice to be chatting to people, but then I probably wouldn't be building at the same quality I would, because I'd be distracted by chat and they'd be wanting me to do this, and then we'll want to, go fight a wither or go and do this, and it just delays the inevitable, like where you need to be with your video, and adds a whole bunch of. It's tiring streaming. I know it sounds crazy, but it is. And I do a big build and then I got to record another 4 or 5 hours worth of content after I finish that. After a stream, I just want to relax for a few hours. So it's catch-22 with that.
I would argue that a 2-hour stream is more draining than like an 8-hour recording session.
Oh, I totally agree. Totally agree. Yeah. If I had a whole day spare a week, I'd do a stream, but I don't. So, no. And then for both, any plans for TB Season 6? I haven't even considered thinking about plans for that yet. What about you, Slack?
No, I haven't even thought about it yet.
Right now,
I haven't even thought about it.
I have no interest at all in going back to Minecraft Bedrock Edition. So I would really like it if the Truly Bedrock team would say, hey, let's do Truly Bedrock Season 6 on Java Edition. But I don't see that happening. So, if they decide they want to do that sometime soon, I probably won't even be involved with it for a while. But I don't think it's going to be coming anytime particularly soon.
We couldn't name it Truly Bedrock anymore. That would make no sense. And you can't do Truly Minecraft because that would be...
Oh, yeah.
Because the name change stuff here a while back, yeah.
Truly Block Rock.
No, that's too much like another thing. No.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
No.
No, we'll see. I don't know. We need to have some serious talks about that internally on TB. And right now, I think everyone's just enjoying where things are at, and feeling that
Truly
relief of
Java.
having a bit of a break.
Truly Java.
Truly craft. Truly block game. Truly coffee. Coffee.
Truly craft. True craft. There you go.
Next question, Slack.
Not so blue sheep. Foxy, do you find you have a hard time running shaders with the create mod?
If I've built a lot of the stuff, yeah. I've been tweaking a lot of things with that. There's a mod called Rubidium Extras, which has got some nice features in it, and it's just it enables you to basically reduce the distance that you can see entities and tile entities vertically and horizontally, and with like 2 separate sliders for each. You turn them way down, and I have no problem running shaders at all. If I have those on normal, like 64 blocks away to see entities, which is half the like default, I think, for Java Edition, then I get about 5 frames a second, unless I turn around and look at something else. And what it is, and this is interesting actually, because I was watching some videos on this by a developer, not a Minecraft developer, but just by a developer making games, and they were talking about culling and occlusion and how graphics engines work. And most games will have basically a bounding box around whatever. If it's a structure, let's say there's a big old flat field and there's a building in it, right? And there's some woods behind in the distance. All of those polygons for the woods need to be rendered. But if the building's in the way, the system's smart enough to know I don't need to render those ones behind it. Or if there's, let's say, an entity, like a person walking across, it goes behind a building, it's smart enough to know I don't need to render that person until it's visible again. And that's how, like, AAA game, all games, really, deal with things. And Minecraft does to a certain extent, but Minecraft's not very good at it. Even though I've got all of those features technically turned on, don't render anything that you can't see. Because every single thing you build in Minecraft is totally custom. It doesn't, unless it's a full solid block, it doesn't have that ability to know what's behind what. It's not clever enough to do that. So when you've got, like on the create mod, all of these belts and conveyors and shafts and blocks and all items everywhere, there's no way to not see process those, even if there's things in the way. And some mods try to do that and they do an okay job of it, but they're not very good at it. So the only way you can actually improve performance is like this Rubidium Extras is to tell it it's not looking for something to see if it's behind of it. It's just, you're just going, don't look any further than that distance, right?
Yeah.
And so therefore it's not, and that's all it is. It's just visually processing things, and entities are the killer, and everything creates an entity. It doesn't matter whether it looks like a block. Like rail that goes around corners is an entity. Shafts are an entity. Conveyors are an entity. It's all entity. Anything that moves is an entity. It's not a block. A block is something stationary that's not animated unless it's just an animated texture. So yeah, you don't need to have too much stuff going on in your little area for all of a sudden it to be bad. Like if I fly off over into a different area without shaders on, I get like 600 frames a second. But in the area I'm working on, I'm struggling to get 100. And if I look in certain directions, I struggle to get 30. So, as Mr. Beardstone and I were talking about shaders as well, Mr. Beardstone says you can't run shaders with Create because it ruins the flywheel something or other, and Not So Blue Sheep's just written that in the chat. Flywheel something or other. I haven't not noticed any issues at all with shaders actually showing stuff in Create. Sometimes items will appear in slightly the wrong place, but everything looks like it should. I haven't run across that problem at all. So, I don't know. Right. Next question, not the last one, second to last one. I love Minecraft, but Bedrock has become... Oh, this is from Peony, by the way. I love Minecraft, but Bedrock has become so dumb that I have to ask myself, what's it for? I totally understand the time and effort put in for things just not work. And I'm not even a content creator or developer. I cannot imagine how people like you guys feel. I have to wonder if there really is a future for Bedrock. And a while ago, you, sorry if I remember incorrectly, said that Java might fade away. But if Mojang continues, Java might stay and Bedrock go. Am I making it worse than it is? Bedrock is just so bland at the moment. Just meh. You've got to remember, most people playing Bedrock are the youngsters that are mucking about with their friends. They're spending 5 minutes in the world. They watch a YouTube video and go, I want to do that. And they go in the world and throw some blocks down and then they'll start a new world. They've probably got 400 like worlds that are just called My World. And none of them have got anything of substance in it. That's who Bedrock realistically is for. It's for the people that are picking it up quick, people that are on the phones, people that are on the consoles, younger people. It sucks that it's the only version on phones and consoles, because people that are serious about Minecraft and that do want to play it, it's not for you. And if you don't have a PC, then that's the only version you've got. I would strongly recommend to anybody that can play on PC and play Java Edition to play it, because you are getting a true version of the game. You're getting how it was intended to be. But it doesn't stop the fact that Mojang is owned and run by Microsoft. Microsoft are a company. Microsoft need to make money, and Bedrock Edition is the only platform that makes any. So if any version is going to go away, it's going to be Java Edition. And there's no way that Mojang and Microsoft there's no way that they aren't spending all of this money on developers to just bring parity across if their plans weren't to get rid of Java Edition. Why would they do it? Their long game has got to be, we only have one version. It has to be. It doesn't make sense for them to keep going, oh, well, yeah, we'll do this forever. The long game is one version's got to go, and it will be the version that doesn't make money, which is why they're pouring money and time into developing Bedrock to be more like Java. And the problem is, eventually it will get to that point, and that's going to be the death of Minecraft, because Bedrock's never going to be good enough. And even if it is, people will still in their heads say, no, it's not good enough. It's not Java Edition, so I'm not playing.
Yep. Yeah, you're always going to have people like that. Bedrock Edition anymore. Anyways. Lucy is up next with, looks like our final question.
Mm-hmm.
And it says, if you could change the length of day-night cycles, would you, or do you think 20 minutes, real life minutes is good? No, I'd change it to an hour.
What, an hour of day and then an hour of night?
Yep.
Or half an hour of day and half an hour of night?
No, I'd make an hour of day, an hour of night, and you can still sleep through the night. So, yep.
Yeah, see, I've got the time control mod on my world on Create, and I have 20 minutes. Is it 20 minutes? No, I think, yeah, 20 minutes of day, because it's normally 10 minutes day, 10 minutes night, right? Full Minecraft day. I've got 20 minutes a day and 5 minutes of night, and I much prefer that.
See, a lot of other games that I play have the option for that. I mean, I could even go so far as 45 minutes day, 15 minutes night. I could get behind that, you know.
To be perfectly honest with you, I would much prefer in my own little single player world to not have nighttime at all unless I needed it. So I'd like to be able to, like, I don't know, sleep in a bed during the day and go, oh, I need nighttime. But the nighttime's just an irritation for me. The mobs don't cause any sort of a threat. They're just an annoyance. It's not adding anything to my game. Anything that I do with mobs that appear in the night don't make it into my videos. So it's not adding anything to my content. So
let's see. Do you need daylight cycle for any mechanics?
Well, yeah, mobs to spawn at night, and villagers
okay,
restocking.
Okay, so what if anytime you went to bed, it just literally changed it? So you go to bed, it becomes night. You go to bed at night, it becomes a day.
That's what I prefer. I would much prefer that. Yeah.
Yeah, I would like that. Yeah, don't give me the thing. If I want nighttime, let me have nighttime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That would be much better. Because it is just like when you're a content creator, specifically, I would say it's an irritation. Like you build, like I'm doing this building, and I'm like, oh, it's nighttime now. I've got to go to sleep. And then I just go straight back and start placing blocks again. Oh, it's nighttime now. I've got to go to sleep. Even extending the days, I'm still like sleeping 3 or 4 times per build.
Or even in a situation where you're building and it's daytime, you want to see what it looks like at night. Oh, God, I have to wait 20, 30 minutes before it.
yeah, exactly. No. Yeah. Yeah, well, I would like to have that toggle. I would like to, but I'd like villagers to continue restocking regardless. Jeez. Right, that is it for the questions, which means that is it for the podcast. If you've enjoyed this podcast and you want to help us out, then you can do by going to patreon.com/the block update. Slack, what are you going to be up to this week? Anything, or are you having Christmas off?
No, I'll be pretty much streaming probably every day. Videos, that's a slow work back into it. But yeah.
Okay, well, I should have a create video coming out at some point this week, and then I will be probably off until the new year. Speaking of which, this podcast is also going to be off for the new year, so we'll see you back in January. And don't forget, if you want to get in touch, you can do by filling in our feedback form on the website, which is theblockupdate.com, or joining our Discord and writing everything in there. All that's left to say is the same thing I say at the end of every single podcast, and that is, if you're the one that made dog armor, I get it. It's a good joke. I actually, as soon as I saw it, I did laugh out loud. It's a good joke, but can we have the real one now, please? Bye. Bye.